is treated like a crime. Living honest in a world that forces you to toe the line. They twist the words, they sell the fear. They keep the masses blind. But deep inside the fire's growing, and it's burning through my mind. Purple flame is rising up, no more bending to their game. Anger turns into rebellion, and the rebellion calls my name. Sick of the poison, sick of the chains they wrap around our souls. We've carried this weight too long, now we're ready to let it go. We're coming to life, turning the tide in this crusade for truth. We're coming to life, Chuppies rise together, armed to the teeth with proof. They attack the pack, try to bury what is real, but they're in the vendor now, and they're gonna feel the steel. We're alive tonight. The sword of the word cuts through the dark, lies are being snuffed out. Truth rises up, no more hiding. Hear the righteous shout. Alive, alive, God is on our side. They thought they could break us, but the hope inside is louder. Turning the tide in this crusade for truth. We're alive, exposing the lies that corrupt the youth. We're alive We turn the tide. We're alive. Truth survives.
Okay, hello. Hopefully Rumble is working too. I just was looking at the control room and it was like video not found, and I was like, video not found? What the heck? That's weird. So hopefully Rumble is working too. Well, welcome to stream today. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Can you guys see this? Is this working? It seems like Rumble is connected, so hopefully it's just a little glitch on my end. Anywho, quite the week of news. Lots of things happening. Especially with the Spencer Pratt election and with the Carmelo Anthony case and a bunch of other stuff too that I wanted to cover today. I was planning on maybe playing some Mass Effect 2, but we're just gonna play it by ear. To be completely transparent, I don't know what I was thinking, but I planned on getting off like work for the summer and being suddenly energized. And I don't know why I thought this, because this literally happens every summer, that I think my body just like freaks out and has to catch up on sleep. And also with like, family visits and all of that, I've just been like sleeping and groggy and, and trying to get it together. But I promise we will be streaming more often, and I'll be trying to pull myself together here with a little more energy. And I'm planning on doing a stream this coming Wednesday as well. Top news: Rogue Wolf Asmund took a big L. Oh yes, I remember that. And Asmund cried about our favorite Jesse Waters. Hello, Venna. What wisdoms do you have for us today? Virtual cooked on the thumbnail. Yes, he did. Hello, Horrible. I actually am going to show you guys what Virtual did, because it's just so creative and cool. Hello, Rala. Thank you for the head pats. It's so creative and cool and just really clever and smart that I want to show you guys the cool gens that Virtual gen for like everybody in the Discord, which was just so awesome. Virtual blush. Lol, just make sure to take care of yourself. And oh, thanks, Malice. Yeah, just drinking a lot of water and getting a lot of wolf naps, I suppose. Okay, let me fix my chair. Is anybody on Rumble? Is that even showing for you? I'm gonna probably just leave it. It says live, it just says the video isn't showing, so probably fine. Okay, let's switch. I also hopefully made a little upgrade to put the stream alerts on a separate audio track than my like Brave tab / desktop audio. So hopefully that'll be more professional and less scuff sounding. Yeah. Okay. Rumble is up. Perfect. Okay, let me switch over to, what am I even doing? Oh, I remember what I want to show you guys. Let's switch this first. And I don't know if Virtual posted these to X, but he ought to post them to X because they look absolutely awesome. Oh, thank you for the cheer, Dover buddy. See, I didn't hear that, but I think you guys heard it, so hopefully that's true. Have a like. Oh, thank you, Caleb, for the like. That actually reminds me, I was watching part of a Caleb Hammer video last night, only part of it, where he was interviewing this guy and his wife. It was very interesting. I actually don't usually watch his videos, but I tend to like some of the things I see about him. But in the video, the husband was like potentially being, I guess this is a new phrase, gold dug by the wife. And seemed like he was a little bit like with the copium for that situation, that she seemed to be with him just for the money. But at the same time, he was talking about some conspiracies, and he was very in on like the Jews conspiracy, but he was saying some things that were actually true. And he was also talking about like demographic issues, things with Black communities. What else was he talking about? How Jewish people own like the majority of media outlets, or I forget if they're like the CEO, whatever. And I felt like Caleb was actually dismissing him and kind of like gaslighting him a little bit on those things. They were trying to say like the wife is embarrassed that he always talks about his conspiracies like in front of other people. But what he was actually talking about was not like, they were making him out to seem kind of crazy. So I have to say that I was a bit disappointed in how Caleb was pushing back on him. But anywho, that's a little aside. Hello, Bupela, welcome. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'm switching to my Brave tab to show you guys the really cool stuff that Virtual made. Okay, let's see if this works. This is not what I was looking for. I don't know why this be happening. Jews do not own everything. Agreed. But it was more so that like the guy on the show was just making good points about like LGBTQ drag shows. Like he was talking about like a bunch of different conspiratorial issues, and I felt like they were just like making him out to be like he was insane, which even if I thought he was a little over the line on like his Jew pointing, the points that he was saying weren't anything crazy. Like they definitely could have been engaged with reasonably. Sorry guys, the tab is like not tabbing. It keeps wanting to go to the thing, but this is not the stupid thing. Oh, I remember. Okay, it's because it wasn't up. Okay, hold on. I was feeling a little rusty. Okay, this is so freaking cool. It is true that the amount of news companies owned by Jews is wildly out of whack. Yes, like that was one of the things he was saying, that I was like, well, he's not making that up. Like that point is actually true. Oh, we just getting started. Hi, Ven and friends. Hello, Canny Jim. I always know you by your hat and your PFP. Okay, I think we should be able to see this now. Hey, this is so cool. So yeah, anyhow, Virtual designed the thumbnail that I used today and also has been genning up a storm on Discord, like a busy little genning bee. Yes, that's an original phrase. And doing this really cool 40K themed lore. So let me scoot myself over. If you don't already follow Virtual on X or YouTube, go check him out. He creates some really cool stuff, and he is like the dedicated one of the dedicated Discord Jenner, I feel. Okay, wait. Does that look right? What is going on? Am I stretching? Okay, I think I'm okay. Yeah, I got a bit carried away. This is a masterpiece. Okay, so anywho, he kind of fit a bunch of people in Discord into this Lupine Redemption faction. Is that the right word? Within the 40K universe, which is just so cool. Oh, also, I have lots of plans, okay? I do plan on at some point, hello, Snark Monkey. Hello, Jesterly. I do plan on, oh, hello, the God of Myth, welcome. I do plan on playing some Space Marine at some point. I'm not exactly sure what form that will take, but I do actually own the game. Haven't played much into it, but at some point, under some circumstances, we'll be playing some on stream. I think that'll be fun. And maybe do like some lore explorations rather. I know about the 40K universe, but I don't know that much about it. More like of it than into the details, but it seems very epic and interesting. And yeah, I think that would be fun. Anywho, I thought this was super clever that Virtual did this like lore of the group of us in the Discord called the Lupine Redemption. I'm going to read this because I think this is awesome, and then I'll show you all the gens. And oh, thank you for the tier 1 sub. We're gifting the tier 1 sub, Kenny Jim. Thank you. Hopefully you guys heard the howl that time. Did it sound like you could hear it but not too loud? Because I tried to make it so it wasn't like blasting your ears out, but also not too quiet. Thumbs up if you could hear the howl at a proper volume level. Yes, heard it. Okay, perfect. What was I saying? Oh, I'll read this and then I'll show you the gens of all of the people. And then if you want to look through it, go into the Discord and go check it all out. Okay. How sounds good. Oh, great. When the warp swallowed fleets. Hold on, this is too small. When the warp swallowed fleets, convents, chapters, and worlds, countless servants of the Emperor were abandoned to oblivion. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, Harble. Amid the madness walked Venatrix, so epic, the wolf of the lost road. Refusing despair and rejecting the temptations of chaos, she gathered the forgotten beneath a single banner. Badass. That's so cool. Space Marines, battle sisters, and survivors of 100 tragedies followed her through the darkness. Upon the shattered threshold of reality, she swore a new covenant of fang and faith, forging the Lupine Redemption. Thus was born the office of Chapter Canoness, and thus began the hunt for all those still lost within the endless night. We hunt, we purge, we redeem. I thought that was so cool. And I know that, so what exactly is the deal on like within the Warhammer 40K universe? Women can't be space marines, right? That's the idea. Like it's kind of a boys club, which like I wish I could have a female character, but I'm not like gonna pout about it. I'm also cool to play as a hulking space marine and maybe just like think of it as a mech or like I don't know. But where are there certain, because I know they tried to do that whole thing with the custodes, right? With the female custodes where it was like very woke as far as I understand. But where are do female characters fit into like a designated place in the universe? You can have a female character in 40K, just not a space marine. There's a whole order of female warriors. Oh, virtual W, high tiering. The sisters are the female club. Oh, why can I not see this on my chats, guys? This is really weird. Something weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's lots of reasons why girls can't be space marines, mostly genetics and to prevent a ruling transhuman caste. Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence. That's what you are in this. Right, I'm a Sister of Battle, right? That's the idea. Space nuns are cool. Vena, Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence. Got you. So do they like battle alongside the Space Marines, but it's like a separate faction? Is that the idea? Same reasons for why Custodes are never female, except technically the process should work on females with added political control reasons as they're recruited from nobility. If you want inspiration for a female character, look up Theodora. Doesn't matter what GW says that goes against the lore. GW is wrong. Okay. I get you. Wait, am I wrong about there being like a hostility between Games Workshop and the franchise itself, or have I misheard? I feel like I've heard that somewhere. World Wolflet News. The EU awakens it roots to deport foreigners. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of what's going on in Ireland too. Okay, anyhow, Distracted Squirrel Wolf. Let's go back to these gens. So that's kind of the background for what Virtual created. And then he went through, so I'm thinking this is the split here of like the male and female, like you guys were kind of saying, the Space Marine and then the Sister of Battle design, which is super cool. Actually, I'm going to read this part too. And then, born of the shadowed hunt and sanctified by the Emperor's light, the Lupine Redemption are unified spores of Space Marines and the Adeptas Sororitas, is that like the sisters? Bound by oaths of loyalty and a single creed, they hunt the enemies of mankind without mercy or hesitation. Their canoness superior, Lupara Vesta, leads them as both chapter master and spiritual liege, a wolf among soldiers, a saint among warriors. That's so cool. That's actually so badass. I like how the Space Marines are like above 7 feet. Is that lore accurate? That's awesome. Also, I tried to turn my sound off on Discord, so hopefully you guys don't get those notifications. But let's switch to this one. So this is the gen of my character looking super badass. Wait, what is this? Sister, oh, hold on. Yes, Games Workshop has been infected by wokies, but the franchise itself is fundamentally anti-woke. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought there was like a tension there between the actual community and the developer itself. That seems kind of hostile. Sisters of Battle are basically gullible traders who were forgiven and allowed to play soldier as the priesthood's guards and also to police their religious organization. Wait, that kind of sounds realistic for like how things go when women get their ideas and get involved. Not to be too self-deprecating, but like that is my experience of women organizing to do things. So that's pretty funny. Ecclesiarchy, did I spell that correct, or did I say that correctly? Space Church isn't allowed men under arms. No one said anything about angry girls with flamethrowers though. Big brain stats. Space Marines are genetically modified. It's apparently kind of a torturous procedure. Yes, I think I've heard of this before. Man, I really need to get over the intimidation of going into the Discord, having so many notifications. I think you can like turn it off, your notifications. I don't know. I think I only get some notifications. And then you can like go click the little bell button to see them so they're not like bombarding you all the time. Virtue. Did you mean virtual? Just Halo tier Vena into the sky with this concept. Hello, Zebo. I always say Zebu, but it's Zebo. Yeah, Space Marines are over 7 feet, have multiple sets of organs. That seems questionable. Like 2 hearts or like 2 wieners? Like, what do you mean multiple sets of organs? Adeptus is singular organization, Adepta plural. Their orders, is it possible to mute a server in Discord? I think it is. You guys can't hear my Discord notifications, right? Because I turned off the sound on that. So I'm hoping that you're not hearing that, hopefully. If you are, then I can change my thingamabob, I think. Sorry, I was reading this. Adeptus, says Snark Monkey, is singular organization. Adepta, plural. There are orders, militant, and other orders. Technically, all of them are trained fighters, but the orders militant specialize in combat. Oh, I understand. Infused with gene seed. They are literally nuns with guns. Your notions of gender are irrelevant to Du Bois. These also look sick. Also, hi, hello, Zombie Slayer. Technically, wow, seriously, one way to get you guys to strike up a conversation is to talk about Warhammer. That is so funny. Technically, Space Marines are very lightly changed genetically to adapt to their implants. If you remove the implants and their effects are removed, though some effects, like muscle and bone changes, are permanent, but the changes are not truly genetic. Oh, okay. It's a loophole to prevent them from being mutants or abhumans. That's right. You can turn off Discord pings for specific channels, blah, blah, blah. They do have 2 hearts. Does 2 kidneys count as multiple sets since you can survive with 1? Purple guy's orc infection is back. Space Marines are not infused with gene seed. Gene seed is used in a lab to grow implants, technically. Or lawnmowers? Or lawnmowers? What do you mean by that? Or lawnmowers. Yeah, so we're talking about lawnmowers or weed whackers. Or how to grill something, maybe. Just wait till we start talking about the orcs. Righteous Vena art is basically say, be gone, Quangos. A woman being head of a legion, heresy. They have a 3rd lung, too. Oh, wow. Okay. Anywho, this looks fucking awesome. I absolutely love this. And hold on. So I'm thinking, I like my title, chapter Canoness, Venatrix, Master of the Lupine Redemption. I'm not going to read all of the text right now. So like I said, if you think this is as cool as I think it is, go into the Discord and check it out. There's lots of lore digging for you guys to do. Seraphim, Sister Rain. I'm thinking these are Gen 2, right? Because is she one of the other people in the Sky Browse community who like comes up with the prompts? Battle Sister Noxima. And then wait, I'll show you everybody else's. This is very cool. This is Kage's, which I felt like was very fitting. I will read a line or 2 from these ones. He's calm. I'm sorry. Battle Brother Kage is a veteran of countless wars and a sworn sword of the Lupine Redemption. His honor is older than many of his brothers, and his blade has reaped 1,000 enemies of mankind. He is calm in the face of the foe, implacable in judgment, and unwavering in his oath. Implacable. Is that how you say that? In the howl of war, he is vengeance. In the name of the All-Father, he is redemption. Badass. Zevelyon. Kage's was Battle Brother. Adeptus Astartes, veteran. Zevelyon's is Reclusarch, Chaplain, Master of Souls, which is also badass. Hold on. Lord Virtual has blessed me. Chaplain Zevelyon is the spiritual blade of the Lupine Redemption. He carries the burden of the Emperor's judgment and the weight of 1,000 souls. He walks where others fear, speaks where others falter, and strikes where heresy festers. Through litanies of wrath and rites of faith, he steals the hearts of his brothers and guides them into glory or death. I feel like both of these designs just fit so well with the Space Marine armor. This had me cracking up this morning when I saw Microcosmic Guy. Because Microcosmic Guy's PFP is a fish, but it kind of looks like Snoopy wearing orange sunglasses, I think was what Rala said, which I can't not see now. But anywho, Chief Librarian, Microcosmic Guy, Keeper of the Astral Tide. He's the foremost psyker of the Lupine Redemption. His mind is a boundless ocean of thought. His awareness a current that flows through the immaterium. He sees the hidden tides that shape reality and charts a path through the storms of the warp. Where others see only darkness, he sees the infinite, and in that infinity he finds understanding. They're just also coherent. Holy fishbowl. Technarchan's also made me crack up. Chief Apothecary Technarchan, Keeper of the Gene Seed. I feel like the the duck snail expression is just a really nice contrast to the armor. He is the healer of the Lupine Redemption, the hand that preserves life and the mind that safeguards the chapter's future. Where others bring death, he brings renewal. Where others see only flesh, he sees the sacred pattern of the Emperor's design. He is the vessel of compassion, the guardian of Gene Seed, and the salvation of his brothers. And I didn't even notice until I looked at it the second time, the snail shell on the back actually fits so well. He looks like a Technarchan. He does. Some mutants are tolerated. Ancient Cher, Venerable Dreadnought. Ancient Cher has walked the fields of war for 10,000 years. His body was lost in the fires of 100 battles, but his will endures. Interred within a sacred sarcophagus of adamant and faith, he remains a bulwark of the chapter's fury and a living testament to our oath. Where he strides, the enemies of the Emperor are judged and found wanting. His hammer, Ban, speaks for him. Your Ban hammer. That's so funny. I love that. I also didn't realize that the whole, is it Jokero or Jokero? Jokero? I feel like I've been saying Jokero. Anywho, I didn't know that was actually, do you call it a Xeno, right? Xeno are all of the alien races. They're just all called that, right? A non-human race. Are abhumans not mutants? Oh, I don't know. Xenos. Okay. But one type is a Jokero, and they're actually orangutan-like, which is super convenient because Rala is actually orangutan. This is so funny. This looks like it's out of, like, what would you say? Canon lore. But the writing on this one had me cracking up. Jokero Artificer? Rala, master of improvised miracles. Rala is a Jokero artificer of unfathomable skill and even greater mischief. He cannot speak to us in words, nor do we understand his. Yet, somehow, every device he touches is improved beyond expectation. His method of communication is simple. He inscribes his wisdom, humor, and endless dad jokes onto everything he fixes. We do not question it. We are simply grateful when the bolter goes brrrt. I love that. I also thought it was funny how it said bolt responsibly on the gun. And then, okay, back to Kage. So loved that. Super awesome. All of the mods got gen tier. Bruh, Neon has 35k viewers on Kick. There's absolutely no way that's anything but bots. Oh, he's an interesting fellow, isn't he? Neon. Xenos is used as a singular and plural. Oh, so it's not like Xeno. Okay. Xeno is used when connected to another word like Xenotech. So it would be like a Xenos. Xenos would be any alien. You're a Jokero. Rala the Mech Lord. Okay, I think I got it. And then Virtual also genned Keeney the Hound as a battle brother. Looking badass. Dober King, I felt like yours fit especially well on here. As a battle brother, Adeptus Astartes, and they all, yep, Adeptus Astartes. Very cool. Holes, I thought his worked really well with the sunglasses. It almost gave me like a Terminator vibe. I don't know if that's right. Jack of Spades. I thought that was great because he posted the picture of himself with the mask. I think an IRL picture, maybe on a jacket or something that I saw. But I thought that was very funny. Our boy Doe working with the Hassan size head. Wait, did he? Oh, it's not quite the Hassan level, okay? And then Teddy Grizz, I feel like his works pretty well. Thank you for the follow. I think that was on Kick. Funny name for your tag. Terminator brother, Teddy Grizz. First company Terminator. Yeah, I feel like the whole grizzly bear thing works really well. Hassan jacks off to Asmongold. We summon him. Thanks, Virtual. And Virtuals also I feel like fits really well. Tech Marine, Forge Brother, Virtual. Looking badass. Is that where you took the Virtual? Do you take your picture from here and turn it into your animated one? It was a great coat, Ben. Well, hold on. It took me way too long to figure out that Jack of Spades and Ace of Spades was the same person. So there's that too. I just recently figured that out. Also, another update. I feel like this actually, I just got reminded, so I'll fit this in here. You know, everything has been going on with the bricks and minifigs and the whole Mormon conspiracy about the Lego stealing and all of that. Well, I actually happened to order Legos in the meantime because Ace of Spades, Jack of Spades recommended a Lego kit for doing like a hand cam stream, which I will be doing soon when it gets delivered. It was back ordered, but it was a really, you'll see. It was gonna be a surprise, but it's on brand, the Lego kit. And anywho, I just saw, I think it was shipped finally. Because it was back ordered. But when it arrives, we'll do a hand cam stream on that. I may need to get or dig up my webcam. Don't know where that is. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But it got me thinking about when I was ordering from Legos that I feel like I haven't really heard anybody talking about. Like, obviously, everybody's been talking about, you know, what Reckless Ben has been doing and rooting for him, and wanting everything to work out justly, even though it's super corrupt and all of that. But I feel like, if I understand correctly, doesn't Bricks and Minifigs have like a license from Lego as an authorized reseller? I think Lego should be revoking that license and like at minimum, and even more than that, they should be condemning them for this shady theft basically. So yeah, I don't know, I haven't heard anybody really say that, but I felt when I was ordering from Lego, I was like, I feel like as a company with the kind of community they have and like the dedicated fans and seeing how this all played out and how absolutely wild it's been, like they should be making a stand here and at least revoking their authorized seller license. Just saying. As I was ordering, I was having that thought, so I figured it would fit naturally in here. Okay, so while I have been more low-key this week, a little less like on the Discord and stuff because I was busy with some family stuff, I've been following what's been going on with Los Angeles with Spencer Pratt. I don't know if you guys have been watching that, but I remember as soon as he came out to be running, me and a lot of other people were saying like, yeah, we can't wait to see how they're going to cheat him because we all know that that's just how this works. And I actually watched a video yesterday, a Michael Knowles video about how the Democrats cheat. I feel like I actually should pull that up because that would be a good segue into this. Have you guys seen what I'm talking about? Let me just close this for a second, and I'm gonna switch and see if I can hold up. That's off. Wait 1 minute. I have a couple different good tabs up here, but I think I should be able to just search this. Okay, if you hear audio, no you don't. It's not ready yet. I'm still cooking the video, okay? I don't want this in here. Stop doing this. Spencer Pratt was winning enormously. And at the last second, many thousands of mail-in ballots appeared, and amazingly, all of them were for his opponent. Yeah, there's lots of shady ass shit going down actually about that. Michael Knowles, I think it was like a co-video with the Daily Wire. Election fraud? Maybe? Yeah, there were lots of weird things going on. Oh, here we go. Have you guys seen this? It was from one day ago. It was actually great. Michael Knowles, how Democrats steal elections in 4 minutes. And then I saw like a Slate article today that was like, oh, of course, when the Republicans don't get who they want, they just scream election fraud. As if like the Democrats aren't literally cheating in the most brazen way all the time. And then when you try to call it out, they're just going to say, oh, you're trying to undermine the election. Even though they did the same thing with Trump winning, did they not? Anyway. Okay, I think you guys can see this. Yeah. How Democrats steal elections in 4 minutes. Just a little informative appetizer to our segment, if you will. California, the third world state. I haven't been watching none of it. I've been watching more of Ruined Leon and... Wait, hold on. I missed your chat. Of Ruined Leon and Blackie speak coverage on Carmelo. Makes sense. I think that Trump called it out and said it would be investigated. Yeah, I think that they are investigating it, but I don't know if they're like actually going to do anything about it. And they ought to. We're going to get into more of like the weird brazenness of the election stealing that seemed to be going on. Wolflet Spotlight, the counters were disabled and blind, so double hypocrisy much. I also saw something crazy. I think it was in Colorado, where I saw this on X today, and it was like somebody showing in some county in Colorado that they are making the ballots a different color based on your political affiliation. From the outside, like the outside of the envelopes. So you can imagine, like, as if there's no actors out there that aren't going to conveniently throw out all of the purple ones or whatever the color was for the, you know, right-wingers kind of thing. And we have Gavin Newsom also saying, like, if it's a break the glass situation, we basically are going to break rules to get Democrats to stay in power in California. So it's really, like, at the point where I don't know how you solve this in a civil way. It seems like the Justice Department isn't doing anything about it when you try to point it out or like vote so strongly against them. They're just going to make it always work out to be the way they want it. I'm not really sure how people are supposed to react in that kind of circumstance because you're completely undoing like the principles upon which our society was founded. How do you not have free and fair elections and then expect people to, I don't know what you would say. I don't know what people are supposed to do in response to that. How people are supposed to react, how you're supposed to fix things. If you can't through the civilized institutions that we have in place. Weird things going on in the wholesome state of California? Surely thou jest. The shadiest part is that Karen Bass didn't get the same vote influx. So it wasn't a leftist thing. It was very specifically targeted in just the way it needed to be. He won 3 times, but only served twice. Yes. California is starting to learn that they can't vote their way out of communism. The Dems literally threatened to leave the U.S. to live in Canada if Trump won. I really wish they all did. I also recall some discussions about how a civil war would occur if Trump won and what states would most likely do that. I saw an X post this morning claiming someone found over 600 Spencer votes in a dumpster. Yes, me too. They reap as they sow. They want more riots and less safety and no fire hydrant water. No taxation without representation. Don't tread on me. Yeah. I don't know where that has just gone out the window. They've been learning from doing it from other countries. Okay. Let's take a listen to this because this was a good little like crash course on some good old Democratic history. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I raised I think my audio is in a better place today, okay?
Election Day 2026, insurgent candidate Spencer Pratt looked like he might flip Los Angeles to the Republicans, edging out socialist candidate Nydia Rahman, setting up a runoff between former communist turned Democrat incumbent Karen Bass.
So he was challenging Rahman to be able to run against Karen Bass, right?
The Republican Pratt. But then something strange happened. After 5 days of counting extra ballots, the socialist Rahman came up with just enough ballots to overtake Pratt, meaning that no matter what happened in the runoff, a Democrat would continue to run LA.
Right, because they're also trying to change the law. I don't know if they did or not, but I thought that they were trying to change the law in California to say, can I mute this tab? Sorry, to say that the way it's been done is that it doesn't need to be somebody from each party to be in the actual election, right? Like, technically you could end up with 2 Republicans, which it was going to look like it was going to be, what's his name? Is it Hilton? And Bianco is the other guy's last name. But I'm pretty sure they were trying to do something to make it so that can no longer be true, because they'd love to have 2 Democrats to be able to vote between, but they don't want the opposite to happen. And so conveniently, now that might be looking like it's going to happen, they're going to have to enact like, needing 1 from each party or whatever, like little rigmarole they do to get their way. Okay.
Into the ground. How did the Democrats do it? To answer that question, we need to take a trip down memory lane. The Democratic Party was founded in 1828. Shortly thereafter, party apparatuses such as Tammany Hall institutionalized election theft by stuffing ballot boxes, repeat voting, casting ballots for dead people.
Oh, where do we see all that happening?
Bribery, intimidation, absentee.
Wait, I saw something that people were like, and this is like what's so crazy about the leftist brain. They were like, if we don't pay them to register, they just won't register for the homeless people. And it's like, yeah, you're paying them. What do you mean?
Ballots, ballot harvesting, and importing voters from outside areas. An audit of a New York City election in 1868, for example, found that 16% of all votes cast were fraudulent.
Oh my God! This has just been their mode of operation.
Democrats in Tammany Hall.
Forever.
In 1948, Lyndon Johnson infamously stole a Texas Senate seat thanks to the drop of 202 late votes in ballot box 13, giving LBJ an 87-vote victory. That brazen election theft made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, which ultimately didn't want to get involved and washed its hands of the matter. As a result, LBJ went on to become vice president and then president of the United States. In 1994, Democrats tried to steal a state Senate seat in Pennsylvania. On Election Day, Republican Bruce Marks led Democrat William...
And I will say, kind of around the time, I'm trying to remember when, I think around the time of Bernie getting cheated out of the Democratic primary, and when it was looking like it was going to be Trump and Clinton, and this was before I had my what would you call it, based awakening. I very much so have been of the mind I'm not even gonna fucking vote because it's all just decided on and it doesn't really matter anyways, and the whole thing is just manufactured. And I do think that there's an element of that is seriously true, that the elections, it's kind of a funny joke to think anything in our society isn't touched by fraud, which is why it's so funny to me when people act like conspiracy theories aren't true. I'm like, have you met humans? That's just part of human nature to try to get away with cheating and scheming and fraud, whatever. But I would say I think I have a little bit more of a nuanced view now, where I do think that the cheating and things is happening all the time. But I also think that when you vote or when you participate in things like that, you can, I don't want to say edge things in a certain direction, because obviously certain times you can't, they're going to just cheat anyways, but you certainly amplify how bad the cheating looks when there's a massive movement behind one person, and then they're completely artificially cheated out of an election. And I do think that there are real like elite factions fighting each other that have interests that align with ours more than other people. Like, I don't know, right? But I would assume that, you know, election fraud has happened on the right-wing side before. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it's like very, very small amounts compared to the leftists, because I think there's a whole ideological underpinning there to what people of each party like believe in. I think the right is like more, what would you say, aligned with what is true and trusting of reality, and probably trust themselves to like go out there and actually win, as opposed to having to like scheme for their feelings, which these are generalizations, but you get what I'm saying. Certainly cheating happens on both sides, but I would imagine, and I would not be surprised, that it happens way more on the left. But my point was to say that even though I think that a lot of these things are decided upon ahead of time, like I don't think that Trump was necessarily like a decided upon pick. Like, I feel like he was more of a what would you say, like a rogue option, or there's a word for it, like when you throw something into the mix that wasn't expected, that like the powers that already exist have to deal with. So even though I think that a lot of times voting is like skewed one way or the other, I don't think that means that we never affect, even if we're just affecting to make cheating look brazen, or to show how much, you know, push somebody has behind them, all of that. If there was ever any cheating on the right, it was probably individual citizens acting on their own. The neocon, the APAC people, and the pro H1B and corporate interests. Yeah, I could see that. It's not human nature, Ven. Very few people did it in Western society historically. It's why human culture was always strongly against cheating, scamming. Other societies, though, glorified it. I get your point, because you're saying like it's not all human nature. I think what I mean is that it is within our possibilities of human nature. When we see things going bad in society, then like no shit that it'll be reflected by people who are choosing to act on that nature, to act it out. But without like looking into that further, I do believe what you're saying, that historically Western societies were better about not doing that. If they won't register without being paid, then they won't be voting at all. It's to make registered voters to steal their names for fake votes. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the rest of this video, and then I'll show you some of the actual stuff I found on Spencer Pratt.
Stinson by over 500 votes. But the absentee ballots curiously went overwhelmingly for the Democrat.
Curiously.
Giving Stinson just enough votes to win overall. In that case, happily, a federal judge found that Philadelphia election officials had illegally delivered hundreds of absentee ballot packets directly to the Democrats, who in turn collected votes from people who were ineligible to cast votes, when they weren't forging the votes outright. Democrats ran precisely the same absentee ballot playbook in 2003 in the East Chicago, Indiana mayor's race. Fraud we know about only because the Indiana Supreme Court decided to get involved, ordering a new election, which the Democrat fraudster happily...
Right, and I feel like that's what should happen here. Like, without going too far to prescribe what I really think should happen here with Spencer Pratt, people ought to be demanding, and demanding with, you know, with some meaning behind it, let's say, some intention behind it, demanding a re-election. This is ridiculous. Everything should be thrown out. This was obviously a big pit of cheating and should not even be counted as something that could be accepted.
They lost. Democrats' reliance on absentee ballot harvesting became so widespread, especially in states such as Illinois, Arkansas, and Georgia, that the 1982 Illinois elections resulted in 62 indictments and 58 convictions for election fraud.
And that's just what we get.
Involving not only campaign workers, but precinct captains and election officials. In Chicago alone, a grand jury found that 100,000 fraudulent votes had been cast. But Chicago had already been a central hub of Democrat election theft for decades, most infamously exemplified by the 1960 presidential election, in which Robert Dallek, a biographer of both John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon, concluded that Democrats, quote, probably stole Illinois from Nixon.
Probably.
In 2020, Democrat politicians infamously changed voter laws throughout the United States to increase absentee ballots and insecure ballot drop boxes. In some cases...
I wonder how elections should be done? Like, do you think it should just be, I guess it has to be in person, obviously with voter ID, but I was going to say, like, for the specifics to, like, really avoid anybody being able to cheat numbers. Like, if you did that, right? Like, if you having your voter ID and you have to register it, or you have to register to vote like that, and you have to physically go to the place, do you guys think that we need other safeguards behind that? Like, how do we ensure that the machines aren't messed with? Maybe we make it like open source software or something, because I feel like if it's paper or physical, that's also like ripe for abuse. Certainly, though, you should need an ID. Certainly, it should be so you can only vote once. Like, if we can figure out how to assign people Social Security cards, you know, I feel like we can definitely figure this out. It's just a desire not to make it not ripe for cheating. The way, if you really care, South Korea does it, vote and it's counted by someone in a clear box showing everyone the votes. Interesting. But then, like, how do we like transport that, you know, those votes without somebody having a chance to mess with them? Amapoozy, thank you for the head pat and thank you for chatting. Get rid of the Dominion machines that has the errors. Yes. Well, I've seen stuff about that too. That's very sketchy. Do you think there should be, should you be able to like vote at all by mail? Because I feel like basically under no circumstance, I don't know. I guess in like an extreme circumstance. But how do you verify ID by mail? Like, it seems like you just can't possibly open that can of worms, which is why I'm like very against the mail-in ballots in general. But, you know, if somebody's sick or something, like, I don't know, maybe they don't get to vote in that election. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. Vote by mail-in absentee should be banned entirely. It kind of seems like you're either there and you vote or you're not. In person on the day with very limited absentee and on paper, even if a machine counts the paper, there's a copy to audit. However, local can be sketchy. I think you should be able to get your ballot ahead of time, fill it out at home, and then go to the polling place or drop it off to someone who checks your ID on election day. That's kind of fair. Yeah, I feel like just no mailing. Like, this can't be put in the mail separate from you, right? Like, your ballot has to be attached to your identification. There can't be like any room for the playing that goes on between there. You have to grant watcher access to machines, but that is why Gavin made an order to restrict machine access. I think we should all get responsibility and accountability trained and tested before voting. Only people I like can vote. Easy fix. Only military that are overseas.
Such as Pennsylvania, in violation of the state constitution. Despite claims of perfectly secure elections, hundreds of Democrats over American history have been convicted over election fraud, and those convictions represent only a small percentage of.
Yes, but the sheer number of elections would act as a filter by drowning fraud in sheer numbers. It's also far easier to police, as each voting campaign would have far fewer votes to watch. Democracy is overrated. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that too. People on the left get very offended by that kind of sentiment. Even though we're clearly seeing like a degradation in the quality of citizen that we have affect the democracy in an awful, horrible way that hasn't just started either. Like, mind you, it's been ongoing. Absentee for military or someone who can prove they are abroad for their job, which should be done in person to register for it. Yeah, that seems fair to me.
Cases, which represent only a small percentage of allegations of voter fraud widely acknowledged by historians.
Also, wipe the voter rolls after every election, requiring a re-register to vote in the next one. Yeah, I could be with that too, because then you can't have like these cases where somebody died, but they're technically like, still in the system, because we all know like how bureaucratically tied up, you know, when people die or move or have like a change in life circumstance, like none of that is ever a clear cut, like, okay, and now you're removed from the list and there are no mistakes and there is no double votes. Like that's never going to happen. People on the left get upset over disapproval of a system that lets them cheat.
Historians, and really by anyone with eyes. In Los Angeles, we see the same old story. A Republican defeated by the last-minute count of absentee ballots.
Convenient.
Cast without any solid chain of custody, often in ballot drop boxes without any election security.
My God.
Those circumstances might all be perfectly legal, at least in a Democrat stronghold such as Gomorrah by the Sea. But we're still left with a simple question. If Democrats want us to believe there isn't any voter fraud, why do they keep expanding the use of all the same tricks they've used to steal elections
for real.
for the past 200 years?
Literally.
The more you know.
So yeah, I thought that was a good little like setup to this, but I'll show you some of the stuff that I actually found. I was just looking through X yesterday, the day before, I forget. I was trying to log into X on my Brave tab and it wasn't, something was off with X today. So I'm not logged in. So I might not be able to see all the replies. But anywho, this was Wayne Dunlap responding to something I think Spencer Pratt said about the election. Nithya Raman getting 40% of a 6 out of 6 ballot dump is statistically impossible, he says. The California fix is in. They just had to see who was running third to do the fake vote dump. Newsom is breaking the glass in real time. He told us they would cheat if their falling candidates fell behind. And then he quoted this from Newsom. And I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the exact context of this. I'm pretty sure this is what Newsom was saying. I don't know if it was about the election though. I'm sorry, about the governor election, or if it was just in general, but I did see something like this the other day. This is exactly what Gavin Newsom telegraphed just weeks ago. In a stunning admission, the governor laid out the Democrat plan to override the voters if Republicans threaten their monopoly. Newsom said, and I remember hearing this, "We all have agencies. We can shape the future. I don't anticipate this being the case, but there is a break the glass scenario. There are many people who would have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out, and we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll leave it here." Like, what is that supposed to mean? He's not saying if the election is rigged the opposite way. He's saying we're going to get our Democrats in, or we're going to start breaking laws and do whatever it takes to do that. So Newsom rigged the whole election. Bass is an unofficial candidate. Can't we wait to see what they do to cheat Steve Hilton. Sorry, I couldn't spit out all those sounds there. Okay. And then this was from Nick Shirley. Why can I not scroll? What the heck is going on? What's happening in LA is extremely abnormal. This is from June 7th, I believe. How did Spencer Pratt go from a 77% chance of advancing to now a 0.5% chance? California is now blocking the feds from checking into the election. Prior to the election in May, Governor Newsom signed SB 73. This law, effective June 2nd primary, prohibits unauthorized access, disruption, modification, or seizure of voter polls, voter lists, or certified voting technology by law enforcement, including federal agents, without a court order or a specific state election law investigation. Give the people transparency. And when I see that, this is so funny to me because liberals will be like, blah, Trump is so authoritarian. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's breaking all the rules, blah, blah, blah. But like, dude, I wish you would do more. Like, say, fuck this law. We're going in anyway. We're the federal government. What you gonna do about it? You're not doing this. We're gonna throw out the corrupt judges and we're gonna get our way to establish what is actually true and just here. So it just cracks me up when people act like, oh, Trump is acting like such a king. Like, no, but like, I really wish he would act that way with the way you people are. Dudes just said, yo, let's cheat. Yeah. This is a video from Polymarket. I actually did not click on this part yet. Who will advance to the second round? It was Bass and Pratt at 78%. So then I think it's watching this completely shift as they cheated it. Wait. This is in the way. Can we see that? Yeah, you could see it. Okay. And then it completely shifts. Did you see that? Like, what the fuck? That doesn't happen. And this was actually replying to this video that Nick Shirley had put out. Meet Doris. She lives in California and is registered as a 126-year-old who has voted in 51 elections and has no idea. California's voting system is so corrupt that by simply knocking on the door of the 126-year-old proves election fraud. How long is this?
Eligible to vote here. So how old is this person who's eligible to vote here inside the United States, inside the state of California?
126 based on the Secretary of State.
And this is
What?
Doris.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna see if Doris is home. Are you Doris?
Probably not.
She's right here. Yes.
Hello, Doris.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We're just going through the voting rolls here, and we're just confirming anybody who's above the age of 100 years old. And right here it says you're 126 years old.
No, you got the wrong house.
Are you Doris Wood?
Yeah, but you got the wrong house. I'm Doris, but you got the wrong place. That's the wrong information. All that stuff. No, that's wrong.
Oh, here, I can show you if you like.
No, It's just that it's wrong.
How come you think here in
Okay.
California they're just messing up on all these voting rolls here?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it says you voted in 51 elections, Doris.
No, not me.
Really?
I'm not no 100-something years old.
I know.
I said I wasn't.
I just want to make sure you're not 126 years
No,
old.
I'm not.
Yeah, it really does say you're 126 years old here.
No.
That's
Says-
crazy.
Who did this be 126? That don't even make sense.
I know, that's what the Secretary of State says.
Well, the Secretary of State is wrong.
Okay, well,
Put it like this, I was born in 1940, so you figure that out.
all right, Doris. You have a good...
Okey-dokey. Yeah, so there's that. And then this is somebody else talking about the Spencer Pratt election. This guy says, I try not to get political, but LA is where I live, and I'm here to tell you there is a 0.0% chance these results are legit. Nithya Raman has no base. No one knew who she was until Spencer Pratt torched her on debate stage. She gave a concession speech on Tuesday. I really hope the federal government and U.S. ADSA Lee, I don't know who that is, are investigating. Again, apologize for getting political. Feel free to unfollow if this bothers you. But a light needs to be shined on what's happening. And then you can kind of see some of the numbers down here. Let's expand this one a little bit. Hopefully I can. Yep. Breaking in... Whoopsies. Breaking an LA mayor's race. This was from June 7th. First place, Karen Bass picks up 20K votes. Second place, Pratt gets 10K but drops 1% to 27%. Third place, Raman gets most at 24K votes, picks up more than 1 to 26.1% yesterday versus today. So, like, they literally just changed, they just dropped the votes, is what it looks like. Hold on, let me make this smaller. There was that. Hold on, I think the idea was that was yesterday. And then, is it showing a difference? Yesterday versus today. Yeah, it's the same thing, just as the numbers were coming in. This is interesting. Saw this too from Donnie Cope. I'm not sure who he is, but I thought this was some interesting information. Tens of thousands of Spencer Pratt voters are now receiving rejection letters from the county clerk saying that their ballots were not counted due to signature irregularities, which is just like real convenient. The speech was to draw clout. I keep hoping, praying, and fighting to save this country, but I'm also preparing to head out into the woods one day. Thank you for the sub. Strip Communistan's statehood. Make it a territory under federal control. They will feel maxed 18,000 Pratt votes were recalled, while Raman got 43,000 out of nowhere. Yep, that's the one. Anywho, wait, what does this say? Yet the Governor Gavin Newsom just passed legislation that would make it illegal for I don't know why it says to contest signatures that they deemed fraudulent. Democrats allow ballots to be signed with an X, / or a smiley face to pass and count, but all of a sudden, only Republican signatures are being flagged for irregularities, rejected, and not counted. One of these California Republican voters said that his signature has been on file for over 20 years, and there has never been an issue until he voted for Spencer Pratt. Nithya Raman has beaten Spencer Pratt by less than 3,000 votes. There are at least 18,000 Pratt voters who received this letter saying their votes were rejected. And this is showing the letter. Absolutely disgusting. What does this say? Yeah, it's just saying your signature didn't work, basically, which is crazy. And then this is the same thing, talking about getting the signatures rejected. So if it were like 20 votes, I'd understand. There's going to be a reasonable margin of error. But it's 18,000 votes, all for Spencer Pratt, that have been rejected. That's not an accident. That's treason. Committed by the people who want to defend democracy, whatever that means. We should be outraged. I see people being mad about it, but like, people ought to be way more mad about it. And I would say doing more about it as well. Yeah, this is what somebody said. Nithya Raman just defeated Spencer Pratt after giving a concession speech on election night and then getting the largest number in almost every mail-in ballot dump. They just cheated an election right in front of our eyes. So this is why I feel like people should be demanding and like seriously demanding a re-election. You know, being willing to do what it takes to demand a re-election. Trump ought to be coming in and taking this over and flipping the whole thing and saying it doesn't count. And oh, bad, too sad. Oh, too bad. You already called him an authoritarian or acted like a king or whatever. So, you know, who cares what the left thinks, basically. And then what is this? Okay, did you guys watch this? I wanted to end it because it is kind of like a hopeful message. I feel like Spencer Pratt could be on the path to becoming president in the future. I think he's 40 something. But he is just like a really talented and I don't know what you would say, passionate. He's got like a fire behind him with this election and with what he's been doing, coming out publicly about. Obviously, he was personally affected by it with the fires. But it'll be interesting to see where his career goes. It seems like he's not going anywhere after losing this election, which I'm happy about. I think we need more people like that. I think somebody like Spencer Pratt is just more like engaging than kind of like a typical, more boring, like politicky kind of sounding guy. Anyhow, if you haven't seen this yet, it's definitely worth a watch. It's just a 3-minute video, but hopefully it'll get you fired up. It's a good one. Okay.
Now that the campaign portion of my mission to save Los Angeles is coming to a close and I'm moving on to the next, more interesting phase, listen, I've spent a lot of time slaying everybody. I've ridiculed everyone on the roster, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take the chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. You think you can get rid of me that easily? I know a lot of dim-witted jerks thought I was in this for a grift, that I was going to roll up and leave town if I didn't get...
Like, he's actually, I don't know what you guys think, but he's actually one of the only people that I can think of after Trump that kind of has a similar, like, memeable, unbothered, poke fun, serious, like, I don't know, like, in it for a fight kind of energy. I haven't seen anybody else like that.
Get into City Hall.
It's just not fair.
Hey, morons, I didn't get in this for political power. I got in this to expose this corrupt machine, and nothing has changed. You enjoy your worthless meetings in City Hall.
Nithya, you have all this information. You're running for mayor. Show what you're really about, or get the fuck out of the race.
I'm going to be lighting you up every single day, and now I don't have to worry about offending CNN viewers. I don't have a campaign laws hamstringing me now. It's war. It's 0 hour for Los Angeles. Angelinos are now stuck with 2 morons responsible for all their problems, and they have to choose between Dumb and Dumber. That's not a choice. That's the machine protecting the machine. And now every problem that plagues Los Angeles because of these 2 corrupt communists is going to accelerate, and the city will tumble headlong into the abyss. You have no idea how many major developers, hoteliers, business owners, entrepreneurs have been texting me saying they're packing up and leaving town. More of your favorite restaurants will be shuttering. That means less tax revenue. That means the city has to cut services, more potholes, less firefighters, less police patrols, more criminals, more drug addicts terrorizing your communities.
And we
haven't ended it.
You have no idea how bad things are about to get for this city. Look
Yep.
at this place already. Weeds growing from every crack and crevice. Graffiti over every square inch of public space. Garbage, drugs, feces, burned up dogs, burned down towns, abandoned storefronts. This city is a mess, and you're about to reward the arsonist who torched the place with 4 more years of destruction?
I know he's very bitter.
My goal hasn't changed. I've been laser focused on stopping these commie animals, and I will stop them. If you think we uncovered a lot of fraud and evil in the campaign, just wait. We have some recordings of one of your exalted candidates doing and saying something that would make her resign in shame. I was saving it for the general election. Go ahead and pick your demon.
I literally can't wait to hear what that is. That is such a good move.
Certify your choice, and then you get to see it. So Karen Nithya, ask yourself, is it possible that one of your employees may have a recording of you doing or saying something that would force you to resign in disgrace? Hope you sleep well at night
The
over the next
James
5 months,
O'Keefe
because you
moment.
know who hasn't slept well at all for the last 17 months? My mom. All my neighbors in the Palisades, all the moms who worry about their kids walking past drug addicts in front of their schools, all the business owners getting crushed in the LA economy, worried that they can't stay in business and feed their kids. Angelinos have been struggling for years now, all while corrupt politicians and fraudulent NGOs profit off the misery and fleece us for the tax dollars. Well, now we're
Yup.
flipping the script. I want all of you awake at night sweating and worried about 5 a.m. when the FBI blazers bust in the door, breaking open your office,
Would
because
love
I
to
assure
see
you,
that.
they're coming. You think your election was going to stop me? If you want to stop me,
You're gonna have to fucking kill me!
Oh, that was so good. Like, that is the kind of energy we need, you know? That was awesome. Spencer's Unchained. He has been awakened. I see him teaming up with Nick Shirley to expose them more. Release it with power. Pray for Spencer Pratt. He be the California Cam Higbee. Did you mean to say Cam Higbee? Yeah. Anyhow, I just feel like that energy is so what's necessary, because you're kind of like going into these viper dens, with how the left is. And while I don't think we're like entitled to have politicians be willing to put their life on the line or like have that kind of like, you know, fearless energy, I do feel like that is what the time calls for, which is why it's such a big ask. And I think why it's so hard for us to see like really big change get done by those people who do get it, and even Trump, because the lengths that the opposition is willing to go to is extreme, you know, and they'll take you out, or hurt your family, or what, you know, whatever their chosen method is. But as I was watching that, it was just reminding me, like, something I've been thinking about a lot lately is like the difference in how like the liberal minded people choose to view the issues of society, and how they're like, they go out of their way to try to find like the one, like the token person of whatever group that generally causes lots of problems. But like, so you'd be like, see, they're not all like that, when like nobody was saying literally every X person is like that. We're looking at trends, and they're like, I don't think it's out of it's not just out of like, oh, they're weak and they can't see it. It's out of like this disgusting like self-conception that they have of like being virtuous, and their idea of virtue is like to always side with whoever they perceive to be downtrodden, even if they're not, just to be like anti-success, because they're so like pathetic and bitter themselves as losers. Just saying, like, that's a generalization, but I do feel like that applies to so many people on the left, and it just really grinds my gears when people like will go out of their way and be like, oh, it was a story of, you know, like a Muslim family coming to our country, and like whatever, like that's not undermining what their religion says, or that's not undermining what these systemic issues are. That's not undermining illegal immigrants knowing full well that they're coming to a country illegally and fucking over our job market. So I'm just saying, I'm real sick of the virtue signaling. Yeah, just putting that out there. The hypocrisy in LA is real. After the riots, they still don't care because of TDS. Cher, did Trump really do that? Don't get a girl's hopes up. Wait, what? I missed it. Didn't Trump send the DOJ to California to investigate? Yeah, I think he did. I think he did, but I'm not certain. I really hope he did, and I really hope something comes out of it. Let me see if I can find that, actually. Trump, DOJ to investigate Pratt election. I saw something, but I wasn't sure if he was just making like a general comment on it. I don't know like how good where is this coming from? Okay, even NBC News is saying, I don't know how good Brave is sourcing this, but just the search was saying the Trump Department of Justice has opened multiple investigations into possible election fraud in California, a move announced by U.S. Attorney Bill Essayli, is that how you say it? Following President Trump. Oh, sorry, you were saying his name before, and I was just being illiterate and not getting that. Following President Trump's unsubstantiated. Yeah, they're so fucking unsubstantiated. These people are so annoying with their little like scammy. You ever read like what's it called? That one website that I fucking hate. Snopes, and they'll be like going through this whole litany of why the conspiracy theory claim is absolutely not true, but the whole way they're just proving why the conspiracy theory claim is actually totally true, and they'll conclude like, and that's why it's not true, but all they did was lay out evidence for why it was really true. They're always fucking doing this. They stated that his office would investigate and prosecute violations and cited structural vulnerabilities in California's mail-in voting system. No public evidence, that just means they haven't like certified it, of fraud has been presented to support the allegations surrounding the Los Angeles mayoral race. They're saying they debunked a viral conspiracy alleging that Pratt received 0 votes in a specific ballot update. I'm not sure if that's actually true. It doesn't really matter. It didn't need to be 0 to be cheating. Wow, Ven is really unleashing. She's pissed. It's worthy of being pissed. It's nonstop. And I feel like when you deal with people like this in your personal life ever, or like just talking to people, that they're so pompous. Like the leftists are so pompous about their way of life being true when it's like literally the furthest thing from the truth, and they can't even like get out what's true. They have to constantly be lying and manipulating and censoring whenever they feel like it, to try to preserve their thinking. Just saying. Inviting libs to, how can I say that? Inviting libs to off you is a risky move nowadays. Hope Spencer is going to be all right. They're completely incapable of grasping the consequences of what they're participating in. Yeah, literally. Per AP, U.S. Attorney opens investigations into California's election, sends prosecutors to LA Vote Center. Well, I certainly hope something comes out of it, because they ought to face consequences for pulling shit like this, and they ought to be afraid of ever doing it again. Also, Bazafraz, I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome to the stream today. Okay, wait, what else have I got over here? What other things have I got over here? I love how they always demand ridiculous levels of evidence in order for them to go investigate, in order to collect evidence. It's a backward logic. Yeah, and funnily enough, is funnily a word? I feel like funnily should be a word. Funnily enough, if it's not, I feel like these are the same people that will hear a claim like about conditions of immigrants that they're living in, and they have no evidence for it. They just heard like one expose where one person claimed like, oh, there was some like rotting food or something, and then they're like, that's what's happening across the board. That's how Trump is treating the immigrants that are in detention centers. Like, they don't have any evidence for that. So when they claim their little like one-off statements about things happening, they don't need all this evidence of it. But when we claim it, then suddenly, like, where are we getting that from? What's our source? Are we just hearing that from Trump? Like, it's, it makes me so mad. It's hard to take these people seriously. Also, I feel like an indication of the right being more aligned with truth is that there is way more variation and thought on the right side of things. Like, there are lots of people that I talk to who have different ideas of what is actually going on and what is causing XYZ, what is true on the right. When you talk to lefties, like, they all have to think the same thing to some degree. Like, even if they're not participating in the most extreme end of their spectrum, they like will not condemn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, if you sign on to be left, then you sign up for all of these ideologies and to defend them no matter what. Doesn't matter if your kid turned gay and you're upset about it. Doesn't matter if you disagree with, you know, the drag shows at schools. They still always have to like route it back to somehow where like that's freedom and why are you being so backwards and whatever. Like, they still always have to defend all their ideas. Without like a healthy debate on their side. Like NPC hive mind behavior. That's because there are more biblically minded people on the right. And because people on the right believe in there being like a one truth, and people on the left think that that idea is oppressive. The right can't agree on what the right is and what should be allowed in the tent. Sure is a lot more diversity of thought and inclusivity, ironically. Okay, let me see. Just need to switch this. Okay, this is actually kind of relevant to what's going on the left and the right, like with conversations about race. And this is so funny. I'm actually going to start this off on a different tab. I saw something like this the other day at the store, and it was like pretty timely and relevant with everything that's been going on with the Carmelo Anthony case. Oops, that's not what's supposed to happen. This, I don't think it says it in here. I think I just saved the picture. This is from Reddit. Okay. I was at the store. It wasn't exactly this kind of, Guess Who board. It was like a different variation, but it had the same faces, I'm pretty sure. Let me just switch this for a second. And it got me thinking, okay, it's Guess Who game comparison is what this is. The most recent edition and the 1987 edition. And then I'll click on it again to get the picture. So you guys can just take a look and see what you notice about this. But I'll tell you the background here. Hello, John. It's nice to meet you too. Wouldn't this make the game easier? Well, there's some interesting things going on. So apparently this game was designed, this is actually kind of funny for people who like are typically like it's the Jews, who are pushing diversity. This was actually originally designed by a Jewish couple, I believe, back in the maybe 60s or 70s. I forget exactly when it was. And the game board looked like this. It was like 96% white, basically mostly men. There are some women on here. I think there's Anne. She might be supposed to be a black woman. I'm not sure. They might have updated it. But then I was reading, I was talking to Grok about this morning. And basically what happened is like there was a journalist who complained like, wow, my kid is a daughter. She wants more women to be in it. And I think Hasbro had acquired Guess Who at some point, maybe I think it was like 1987 or something, and they pushed back and said like the game is not really supposed to be about the game is not really supposed to be about it's supposed to be about what people look like. And let me see how they phrase this, because I had this up in my other tab here. They changed it is the point. I don't know if you guys can see this. They diversified it. Basically, it was heavily male-dominated, whatever. And everyone was almost white, which reflected the demographics of the country at this time. And then basically they said that there was a mother, I think she was a journalist, of course, always a you-know-who type of journalist. She highlighted the gender imbalance, and their initial response was they were emphasizing the game's numerical equation, saying that the intent was to focus on like common traits. So it didn't really matter. It wasn't really about the genders. And so they kind of like were like whatever, that they didn't really do anything. And then I think later on, like as the game moved forward, there was like more of a push for inclusion, of course. They added 5 non-white characters, but by the time they were done messing with this, they made it so it was originally the breakdown was like 96%. I think I asked it here. The original roster was 92 to 96% white characters, European features, and all that, which once again like reflects the demographics that this country was. And 4% black at the time, I believe. And then they didn't just like push it to organize it to be the percentages that make up the society. They pushed it all the way to making it like 50% black. They even like undid the Hispanic portion, which was supposed to be like 20% reflected. They were like, fuck that, we'll just make it mostly black. And I just feel like this is such a good example of yeah, here, what does it say? White representation dropped from 95% to 50 to 55, while non-white, especially black, rose from 4% to 40 to 50%. And you know, now somebody has blue hair, of course, and all of that. But so that was interesting. And also, I just feel like the reason why I brought this up, because I think it's relevant to what has been going on with the Austin Metcalf case with Carmelo Anthony trial and all of that, is all of the other races. And this is like, I feel like you say this to people who are leftists and they're just like, how could you say that? And it's just like the most like immature perspective that you choose not to see this. But all of the other races seem to have racial awareness and understanding of in-group dynamics. And white people, I feel like, have like totally had this idea of just, let's just go with the liberal idea and let's just full on do diversity and do this melting stew idea, which, by the way, like, I take a big issue with the way melting pot is used, because melting pot melts everything down and assimilates into whatever the like majority ingredient is. Okay, like that's what it means to melt. If you're talking about everybody just staying as they are or taking over with their particular ingredient, subjugating the other ones, you're talking about a stew. And it seems to me that we did this attack of like, white people are bad, not allowed to have a dominant culture in a dominantly white country, not allowed to enforce that and to have assimilation work into that so it can be peaceful like it was more so like in the 90s and 2000s, obviously not perfect. We're not allowed to have that, but everybody else is allowed to take their racial in-group and subjugate us, basically. And I feel like the Guess Who is just a perfect example of that. Like when, and it's a board game, but it's a great visualization, when another racial group will take over, they will not just try to get a fair, reasonable treat, they will try to subjugate the other groups. And in this case, I think this also ties into what Austin Metcalf's father, if I believe I heard this correctly, was saying about how, oh, like, Black people are complaining that, you know, there were no Black jurors, when the reason why there were no Black jurors is because they would not agree that they could potentially have to prosecute some, like, one of their own. And so I'll play the actual clips, but, you know, I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with having a country that is majority white and runs peacefully under your culture. And the way to keep that going would be to enforce a strict assimilation into that culture, so that we have more in common with each other, instead of allowing for maximum diversity, which creates all these pockets of people not being the same and not getting along and not having a common culture, which I've said before, like, is how literally nothing works ever. Like, go into any workplace, go into any school, and there's going to be a common culture that's enforced, because that's literally what people need to get along, number one. Number two, somebody else is just going to take it over and take advantage and enact what they think is correct. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, stats bear out that white people have the lowest racial solidarity cohesion compared to every other race. Yes, I have heard of that before. That's kind of what I was referencing there. Just give me a 10 by 10 board of people. That would be a better game challenge. I'm trying to be careful about what I read. Whites thought the culture was what caused people to be civilized or not. It was stupid to think. Obviously, people make and change culture. Culture isn't some self-forming magical existence. Hence why multiculturalism is impossible. Yeah, I don't know why that is so, like, offensive. People who think that culture is just, like, separate from us. I feel like those are the same kind of people that are like, institutions or government are just these, like, ominous independent structures that we don't obviously influence and directly reflect us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just like a very myopic, dare I use the word myopic again, last time it got me into trouble, myopic and uninformed and like you're unwilling to see what's actually in front of your eyes worldview. Okay, let's switch to this one. This was, I'm not going to watch this whole thing. We're going to kind of click through for the clips of Mr. Metcalf talking about this. Pretty sure he also started out pretty like woke. I don't know if woke is the right word, but I'm pretty sure he was like more on the side of, you know, the left would be when this first happened with his son, but I think they've just driven him over towards the right by being so fucking insane, and people saying like, oh, I wish I could give Carmelo Anthony a hug, and just the most like actually racist sentiment coming out on their side. Okay, we'll click through.
You know what? Oh, there was no black jurors. You know why? Because you can't be unbiased, you dumb shits. If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly.
Yikes.
You don't even know who your fucking daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore.
Awesome, Metcalf. Carmelo Anthony. Like I said, hey, what's...
Also, what was I going to say? I feel like there's also this thing where people who develop more of like a clear vision on what exactly is going on with illegal immigration, or just like, I don't even want to say illegal, just massive amounts of forced immigration, all of the racial dynamics going on, stereotypes and all of that. I feel like the people who end up with a more accurate worldview are like those who have to live among the consequences of these decisions, which is why I think the people that are often like touting this the strongest, at least those who are in those groups, are like the white NIMBY, I think that's the right word, like they live in the nice part of town and they like to go see the culture in the other parts of the town to go get their tacos or whatever, like a field trip to the zoo, but they certainly don't want to live next to the group of 20 immigrants living in a small apartment next to their house, doing illegal work in their backyard and God knows what else. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, once again, like life experience and having to suffer through the consequences, the fallout of this is what ends up waking up people to it. Hope y'all are having a great stream. I'm going to lurk while I sleep because I'm too damn sleepy. Also, we need to separate from the ethno-tribal third world politics bullshit. The left and their zombies are a death cult like Islam. What a Chad to the zoo. The pro-Carmelo groups are not Americans in my book. Carmelo's family raised him to be a scumbag. They should be held responsible. Yeah, didn't they also like try to keep the what's it called? The GoFundMe going on, like the trial going on, so that they could like take all the GoFundMe money. He's not brain damaged or mentally ill. He's just a normal young man behaving how he sees as normal. And the other thing is, like, I'm kind of real sick of like the excuse. I think this is something we need to change. I'm kind of really sick of the excuse of like that person is too insane to stand trial. Because like the hard truth of it is maybe that impacts like what we ultimately do with them when we lock them up, right? But if you're too insane to randomly stab somebody on a train, or act out some other crazy ass violence or try to behead somebody or what else, I don't really care if you have a mental disability. You're too fucking insane to be part of society then. And oh, you know, too bad, so sad. Go directly to jail. And, you know, maybe there's, like I said, maybe if somebody genuinely has like this measurable schizophrenia, then maybe we try to treat them in some way. But like, that doesn't mean you're not getting locked up for the crime. That doesn't mean like, oh wow, I'm sorry, I'm just too crazy. Like, think about the perverse incentive system that makes. Not to mention, like, you can kind of just act crazy, you know, like that's not off the table as an option. So just saying, open the nutty houses again. Pretty sure the insane asylums all got shut down because like a few cases of abuse, by the way, which go on everywhere. Like everywhere there's humans, there's going to be a few cases of abuse. But yeah, I think that was a big mistake. The excuse is BS. If you're too insane, then you need to be put in a box. You're right, Ven. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we can't live around you if you're so fucking crazy that you accidentally might hurt somebody. Like, oh well, that's how life is. Oh yeah, the GoFundMe money used by his parents for luxury instead of what it was explicitly stated for, court costs. It should be seized as unlawful gains. Yeah. Honestly, execution is needed for people like Zaruska's killer. So what exactly is going on with him? Is he just not, he's just like sitting waiting now because they said he was insane? I forget what the final update was on that recently. Okay, we'll click through this a little bit.
Angered you the most about this story? Comment below. Now, you're going to see a lot of this on social media, and I want you to remember, master manipulators, people who are the best at avoiding accountability, here's what they do, is they push, clip, and then we'll show you how it started versus how it's going.
Okay.
Y'all can make...
So yeah, I think this is, I don't know. We'll watch the clip and find out.
Let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral.
Lol.
Clip, and then we'll show you how it started versus how it's going.
Y'all can make... Let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you?
I mean...
Now, here...
what do you expect? Like, not only have they acted in the typical, stereotypical fashion, but also he killed his son. Watermelon Felon is wild.
Here is the whole clip in context so you understand what he was saying.
You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can make... Let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello.
There you go.
Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night. Because he's going to have many nights to think about what the he did.
Yeah.
Now, that comes from a 3-hour video that he's answering questions and specifically addressing Carmelo Anthony's parents. He said, he leaned in, he said, oh, since you want to make it about, okay, let me make one that'll go viral. He was making a point. You can disagree with the way he made the point. I don't. He's trying to say no matter what occurs, everything else will be ignored except for this one phrase that shouldn't matter. Let me give it to you. And then sure enough, that's all that's clipped. That's all that was with the professional race baiters. This is then.
You had mentioned a few times that you had forgiven the suspect for what he did.
I do.
But we just informed you about these documents and...
That doesn't change anything. Okay. This has to do with me and God. God teaches us in the Bible. He talks about forgiveness. He also talks about revenge. Not for me to seek. God will take care of it. Karma, I believe in it. It's very unfortunate that this other child decide to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I've watched a couple cases from teenagers doing like really heinous shit, and I feel like a lot of the time that I've seen them, like there's some states where they're not allowed to get past a certain amount of years, you know what I mean, in prison. And it's just like, bro, like if you're a psychopath, I think the one I watched was Dr. Insanity. That's like my new favorite, one of my new favorite channels. Michael Tackman, I'm a new glowy in the chat. Oh, hello, Michael Tackman, welcome. If you're, one of the cases I was watching was with a 13-year-old. It was so just like outright psychopathic. He broke into his neighbor's house. I don't think he raped her. I think he just murdered this old lady, like just like testing out being a psychopath killer, because he was like big into watching crime documentaries and like also had really, you know, what's the word, condemning searches on his computer, and like, you know, really into people like Ted Bundy and all that. But he got like way less years. Like I think he was going to be out by 21. And it's like, bro, if you're doing this at 13, like, I'm just not buying this whole, like, we can't prosecute a child for longer. Like, you're not acting like a child. You're acting like a grown-ass psychopath adult. Like, this is not talking about a kid that, like, killed a squirrel and, oh, he has some mental problems and we need to get it fixed out. Or fixed up. Or, oh, it's manslaughter, right? Like, a kid stole a car at 14 and he accidentally killed somebody. Like, this was premeditated, planned out, plotted, unrepentant, psychopathic murder. At 13, we're just going to let them try again at 21? Like, that is crazy to me. You can take it on a case-by-case basis, but the idea that a state can just be like, no, actually, regardless of the circumstances of the murder, they just can't be in jail past a certain time, like, that is ludicrous. That is insane. All of the crazy bureaucracy of the justice system just really makes me sick. I'll give being a murderous psychopath a try. Who knows? I might like it. Or I'll get out at 21 and be able to get hired at like a GameStop or something, you know? Like, what the fuck? Speaking of God, you know what he said in the Bible? To execute murders. Yeah, people like selectively cherry picking hippie Jesus. And it's so offensive when people do that. They're like, you know, you are God, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they're like, I don't need to read the Bible. That's stupid. Why would I read that? But they're happy to pick what they want to pretend that Jesus was a hippie. Who didn't whip the money changers out of the temple, and other things like that. Rain shadowing. Hello. Okay, let's keep listening.
Passion for every human being. This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online that people say there was this fight and they don't know. They weren't there. I know the truth.
That's how it started. By the way, I realize who he looks like. It's Jack Klompus from Seinfeld. He's a dead ringer.
That's what it was in the first place. He was trying to like intentionally not feed into the racial stuff, but then I think the other side just went so batshit crazy. He's like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll just make my joke then.
We all know your son can't afford a Cadillac.
Let's see.
Why I think this guy is fed up.
Okay, yeah, this is like literally showing his progression to his watermelon felon joke. The ghetto fatigue hit him hard.
Specifically, the family have said and done throughout this trial to reveal who you truly are, which is also why I think this guy is fed up.
Oh my God.
Accountability.
Number one was the all-white jury.
Wasn't an all-white jury.
Yeah, it also wasn't an all-white jury. That's the other thing. Carmelo planned the murder. Yeah, I think I saw something about that too. Like it was, he already knew Austin Metcalf. There was some history there.
Everyone actually lied on the stand.
Everyone, but us.
All of the witnesses' statements were inconsistent. All of them.
If you look at the news, all that shit was already convicted. If you look at it, it was already done. It was no innocent until proven guilty. He was already guilty.
Bias. You racist. Y'all done forgot my family too. Y'all done brought us.
So if we're going to apply, the pre-built racism in your DeLorean, I'll apply the
people who cherry pick hippie Jesus statements and expand them to things like countries are so annoying. Like, love thy neighbor enemy. Yeah, he was in context talking about your literal next door neighbor and people that you personally hate in your daily life.
Pre-built victim excuse, always blaming racism. So you taught your son that if anything ever happens, it's just bias, racist,
external.
prejudice, and that's why you act.
It's like that Hillary Clinton, I don't know where I've seen that. If it was like a meme or somebody made a song where it's like racist, misogynist, sexist, it's like all of the ists together. I don't know where, it might be like a sound alert. I'll have to look that up.
Like an asshole. And he's doing hopefully the rest of his life in jail. I'll apply the same standard. Or, most likely, he was genuine. He thought he could reason with you people, meaning the family specifically. Our video or stream that he uploaded, we went through all of it, and a lot of this hasn't made its way to social media. Here you go.
From day one, I said this was never about race. Please don't make it about race and don't politicize it. And what did you do? You chose both.
Of course.
The race card, black fatigue, it's real. I'm sorry. You have embarrassed your own culture and race. Don't get me wrong. We got white people that embarrass the shit out of me too. But you guys...
are you thinking of the Powder song called Yeah and? No, that song uses it, but it's older. It's like from the 2016 election. It was like a audio. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. It was... I feel like it was like a song. It was definitely about Hillary Clinton. I think it was just a mashup of her insults. Let's see. I think this is it. I'm pretty sure this is what it is. Hold on. It's loading. Okay. I don't know if this is exactly what it is, but it was like something like this. Hold on. I'm not showing you guys yet. Okay. It was something like this.
And misogynists and chauvinists and sexists and misogynists and chauvinists.
It was just like that is all that she said the whole time in her argument.
And misogynists and chauvinists and sexists and misogynists and chauvinists.
Yeah, it's just a mashup of her doing that. Anyway, I've seen this. It's peak comedy. French house. The dancing emotes, Mazafres.
You got a patent on that shit. And the only people that's going to change it are you. Don't blame the white person because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for every fucking thing else. We're the bad ones.
I also feel like black people that are not like that really fucking hate that shit. And I think that's a lot of times like a tension between black cops and their communities is like they're not acting like that stereotype, but they're surrounded by it.
Everyone held you down. Guess what? You can do everything in America that I can do. Tell me one thing you can't do.
French house is a music genre. I knew that, Rala. For once, I knew what you were saying. Daft Punk. I feel like I would like that. Snark Monkey with the bass machine gun. They're not embarrassing their culture and race. This is how they've always been. It's that everyone else misunderstood them. They were not required to integrate into society. It's exactly the same as immigrants who don't integrate and form their own communities. Yeah, and also, doesn't this have to do with like the way that they've blown up this history of lynching? As if it were just something that happened to random black people, like on a large scale, when from what I've seen, it was like communities taking their own vigilante justice to people who had actually commit like heinous crimes, like rapes. Isn't that actually true? And that where it wasn't true and where people lynched somebody and it was absolutely not like a communal response to a real evil, then I'm pretty sure they were prosecuted and like thrown in jail for that. So I'm not really sure with this whole like culture of, well, I know where, but how it's stuck with us, that this was just like a way of white people had of doing things. And we've just accepted this into our mind as like the truth of history.
That I can't do.
Black people who are not like this rush to leave and be around fellow civilized citizens. Is why they tend to be together at offices and neighborhoods. I'm glad to have them with me. They're very friendly and helpful, which also bitterly highlights how much potential is being squandered.
And the fact that people in the black community, the black activist community, are outraged tells me they don't understand that once upon a time, the most likely scenario would be this man requiring the restraining from authorities because he would be killing the family.
Yeah.
Of the boy who murdered his son.
True.
As they gleefully blame white people. You understand that, right?
Or
young men.
Drew Anthony, Kayla, you're cowards. You wouldn't even show up for your son's sentencing.
That's
or victim statement impact. You abandoned your kid. You left him there. I guess he's no more use to you because you can't get any more GoFundMe money or GoSendGo money.
Raleigh.
You are grifters.
That's so gross.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You raised that child, and I swear to God, CPS to come check on those other 3 that you still have. You tried to play victim. The real victim is the one who died, not the one who shoved a knife in his chest. I come to pray with you.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, that's not self-defense, you know? Like, if somebody shoves you and you immediately pulled out your shotgun and shot them, like, you'd be, like, you know, if that just happened, like, in the street as an adult, like, they wouldn't just get away with that. Self-defenses just have no bounds. Pretty sure there's, like, a match of force to the circumstance that's reasonable.
And show the world we can close the gap of this unbelievable racial divide. And what'd you do? You widen the gap even further. You hire a convicted, baby-shaking felon who's only in it for the money.
Fact check true.
Who gives you bad advice, kicks me out of a press conference.
That was their lawyer, right?
Oh, funny. I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, but I left when asked. I didn't stab anyone.
Fact check true.
Oopsies.
And then you proceeded to gaslight me with your convicted felon, quote, advocate? Minister? Minister of what? Minister irrelevant? Minister of bullshit? How about Minister fuck you?
And here's the thing that really bothers me, too, is you have some of these sewing circle Protestant Christians. I'm a Protestant. Go like, well, he doesn't need the language. Fuck you.
That's right.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
his son
I have to agree. I'm a big believer in that too. And without getting into the full debate here, I just think that there is a time when you're emphasizing something serious or passionate or fucked up or whatever it is, and there is a time where the language serves a purpose to emphasize that. And there's examples in the Bible of even Jesus using words that are clearly insulting. I'm pretty sure, who is it? Paul tells somebody that their balls should get chopped off or something. I forget exactly what it is. But I do think that it is wrong if you're just trying to use as offensive language as you can use whenever, like people that just build it into like their language and it becomes kind of just like a low class way of speaking. But I am not convinced that there is no place for curse words and aggressive language when the circumstance calls for it. In the same way people say like when there's other interpretations like, you know, you shouldn't judge people, doesn't mean that you don't have judgments of other people. Same thing when it comes to language. Just because you shouldn't like abuse language and be disrespectful and gross and lewd on purpose, you know, there's a time to say that's fucked up, bro, and I don't think that that's sinful. Thank you for the follow, Godzilla dude.
Not killed.
You have to punctuate that. That's necessary sometimes.
Do you realize if someone killed my son, my daughter in cold blood, I'm just letting you know, I would be a supernova of hate.
Yeah.
No one will be able to get close to me. They would destroy themselves. They would self-destruct coming into my atmosphere of anger and hate and internalized and potentially externalized, if not by the grace of God. And I mean that violence, intense violence. He used a bad word. You think the Crusaders ever said something naughty? You pussies. His son was murdered.
They are heretics either way. Eastern Orthodoxy master race. So I didn't know you were Eastern Orthodox, Dizzy. I wouldn't exactly call Protestants people. Oh, that's kind of a shots fired. And why wouldn't you call Protestants people, Dizzy Lizzy? Tell us.
This is why we lose. You said a bad word. His son was killed.
Swearing is very overused in our present society or places and times where it is used inappropriately. However, there are also times and situations where it is certainly warranted.
Oh. And anyone goes, well, I agree, but I'll give it. But he still could have done it, and they won't share it. A lot of them, they won't share it. They won't support him.
That's ridiculous.
Because even though we know how a lot of these people live in secret, right? They speak Christianese in church, and they go home and they watch HBO and Netflix, but they can't share a grieving father who's speaking truth to power because he says the word fuck.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being milder if your son was murdered. And you know what? He was milder. Until you pushed him too far. Father.
I just want to see if there's another. Oh, yeah, there's more.
You wanted an angry father? You got an angry father.
Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more privileges, more entitlement?
Apparently.
Because 400 years ago,
Also, there's also a statement of Charlie Kirk's that's often misrepresented that I'm pretty sure he's talking about like airline pilots or something to that effect, and saying that he wouldn't trust I don't want to misrepresent what it is, but I think the gist of it is that he wouldn't trust somebody that is a black airline pilot or whatever because of Title IX, I think it's called, and the what's it called, the DEI hiring practices. And I think that is misrepresented out of context because that doesn't, he was not saying he doesn't trust them because they're black. He's saying because you've made whatever job it is not be hired based on merit, we can't know if they are there because of a merited reason or because of a quota. Therefore, we ought to be nervous about trusting people who are hired under the same quota situation, if that makes sense, who show that they could have just been hired for that reason. So yeah, just something that reminded me. I'd trust a DEI pilot, just not a woman pilot. It was because of DEI possibly giving someone a position they shouldn't be in. Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Actually.
But that gets misrepresented all the time. Like, Charlie Kirk hates black people. He's actually like, that's not what he was saying.
Sold you to
It's like the left is so, because I've heard this from other people like IRL too, and it's like the left is so insecure about their position on like there being no racial differences or there being no stereotypes that they have to like go so far as to say that practices that would hire people without merit are merited because those people have been unmerited and not being hired for them before, even if that's not true. It's like they have to go so far to what's it called, to justify their side.
Us, and we took you over here and put you to work, and then we had a civil war to free your ass. And now you want to talk shit. Oh, I've been so oppressed. You couldn't even vote 1960. Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you.
True.
You're not oppressed. You're fucking entitled. You know what DEI stands for? Yeah. Means I don't have to be fucking qualified. I just have to be a certain color or a race or gender.
I actually felt this a lot with like being a woman because that's part of DEI too. Like I feel like DEI loved white women. Like so many opportunities that I've had and situations I've ended up with like through work or like through side like bureaucratic things in teaching where I'm like guaranteed I was just like definitely pushed forward because I fit a category of like a genre of person that they feel safe with, which is why I always say like it's so funny that my character or my model is a wolf girl, because there's been a lot of circumstances that I've been in with teaching where like I haven't actually said what my real beliefs were, nobody asked me, but where all the people around me just assumed that I was on their leftist like psycho wokey side, and kind of just put me there because they assumed like, oh well, she's a white woman, you know, so she probably you know should be one of us, but it's disturbing to see like the tribalism as opposed to the merited order of things, at least the attempt at merit, let's say.
Who's broad ass?
The people that benefited the most was white women. Yeah, which also kind of ties into the what's it called? The birth rate crisis, because people, you know, will say like, oh, but the immigrants are having children. Like, yeah, we're talking about the national population and keeping that going forward and growing in our country. But yeah, white women were given lots of financial opportunities and now they're basically chained to their careers for a certain lifestyle, which it is hard to attain in this economy. And you know what's really incongruent with that is getting married and having children. Doesn't really go well with being tied down to a career that we flooded the marketplace with and competed with men for. So yeah, that's another red pill, if you will, on how all of the leftist policies are destroying the world and leading to declining birth rates and horror. Yay.
What idea was that?
And then this one matters. First off, people are lying saying it was an all-white jury. That's not true.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What they mean to say is there weren't people who look exactly like me, black people. Which is funny because they act as though, very often, I mean they, black people, they act as though they are the only minority that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with affirmative action.
I know, that's what was so funny to me about the about the Guess Who game. They were like, fuck the Spanish people. Doesn't matter that they're 20% of the population. We'll just elevate ourselves to 50 and sideline them. Like, it was so hypocritical.
Screw Asians when it comes to work. Screw Hispanics who are willing to work hard, you know, legal immigrants, by the way. Otherwise, I get it. The same thing here. They act as though none of these other minorities count on a jury. White people don't do that. We don't go, yeah, but he's not a redhead. Yeah, but he's not Irish. Yeah, but he's not Italian. Yeah, but he's not German. Yeah, but he's not Polish. Yeah, but he's not Hungarian. We don't do that. Let's say that our specific lineage, ethnicity, race is the one that matters. We don't do it. Only black Americans do it when dealing with the justice system. And here is the dad of the hour discussing exactly why there were no black jurors at the not all white trial.
Oh, there was no black jurors. You know why? Because you can't be unbiased, you dumb shits. If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly. You don't even know who your fucking daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore. You got baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real. Because they ain't only black people. White people do the same shit.
Zayla, hello. Oh, nice. Watching Steven Crowder. Very based.
I'll call them out just as hard as I'll call you out.
What the hell did I just walk into? A good time. Yil XZYZV1JY. Welcome.
Anybody who doesn't work, who wants free government handouts, who wants to live in a socialistic society, move to fucking Russia.
Not the best reference, but the point remains.
Be respectful of this country. We have many people who have fought and died for this country so you can run your mouth. Thank a veteran. They're the ones who lay their ass on the line for you.
Yeah. Everything you just said there, by the way, is observably true. Some people will dispute the numbers because there's fatherless households and there's households without fathers in the home. But it's anywhere from 63 to 70-something%. The contrast, the comparison is what matters because it's 2 to 3 times the number of fatherless households in the white community or in the Asian community. Hispanic is somewhere in the middle. No.
Also, something else that I will venture to say lightly is while I don't believe that I don't believe in the systemic holding black people down arguments that people make. I will say if we give that to leftists and that whole wing of people that believes that, like, they are saying at the same time that they are taking away the agency of black people then and saying that they're incapable of rising above their circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, I don't grant that in the first place, but I don't think they realize that that's the argument that they're making by blaming everything on external forces.
Nowhere else is it anywhere near
not even close.
The levels of the black community.
87% in Detroit.
Yeah, and you can't say that's because of melanin.
But he makes a great point, though. Their community is hurting them. Yes. In the future, when this occurs, they'll have the same problem of not being able to assemble black jurors because of all this bathing and racism and victimhood. Crazy. And you made the point the other day, I think it was yesterday's show or the show before. The revolution has to take place with their families, their moms, their fathers, their community, and they've got to be able to stand in and take the...
So, yeah, just saying, you know, people will say, oh, it was another example of systemic racism because it wasn't, you know, there were no black people on the jury. It's like, okay, well, why did that happen? And I guarantee you the mainstream media will not be publishing that part of the story. Yeah, like the idea they tried to indoctrinate us with this when I went to school to become a teacher. It was like one of the first things was that like they tried to beat into our heads. And this is so funny because I was literally like voting on the Democratic side at that point. They tried to say that racism can't be from black people to white people. It can only be against black people because black people are the ones who the institution fights against or whatever the fuck that means. And even being like on the left, like I think a registered, I don't know, independent Democrat at that time, I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna just be quiet and say, I don't believe that. I may have even like asked a question about it. Like, are you sure? Because that makes no fucking sense. Yeah. It's all virtue signaling because their narrative lands on falsehoods. and mainstream news. It's not a systemic thing that keeps them down. It's their own culture. Trying to better themselves is deemed acting white and then shamed. Yeah, that's super true. Yeah. Okay. I am going to take a quick break, and I think there's a few more things that I want to cover. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're just joining us, we're finishing up talking about Austin Metcalf's dad, and then we're going to get into a few other, what was this one? A few other little things in just a minute. Okay. I will BRB.
Try to paint her line by line, make the perfect form divine, but she's a glitch, a beautiful mess, causing digital distress. Nautic size. Yeah, Venatrix cries. Venatrix in the chat, neon eyes on glow. Big bad wolf, VT feet on flow. Avatar sharp, got the crowd on lock. Every bar silver fang when I chomp that talk. They twist my words, try to spin that thread, but I bite through cap, lead the lies half dead. I don't chase cloud, I just chase that truth. Mic check, muzzle off, I'm the young cage proof. Timeline twitching when I drop my views, cause I don't bow down, I just break fake news. They gas like ghosts, right? Sell that spin, but my pack see clear, we were born to win. Venatrix in the jet, neon eyes on glow. Big bad wolf, VT feet on flow. Avatar sharp, got the crowd on lock. Every bar silver flame when I chomp that talk. They twist my words, try to spin that thread, but I bite through cap, leave the lies half dead. I don't chase cloud, I just chase that truth. Mic check, muzzle off, I'm the young cage proof. Timeline twitching when I drop my views, cause I don't bow down, I just break fake news. They gas like ghosts, right? Sell that spin, but my pack see clear, we were born to win. I'm the wolf on stream, Venatrix online. Hardcore takes when I lay that line. You can lie all day, but the fog won't stay. Every fake little flame gonna burn away. I howl that fact, let the echoes fly. All the gaslit games always fade and die. When the teeth hit truth and the light hits sky, all the noise falls quiet when the wolf walks by. I'm the glitch in the script, break the prefab lies. No puppet on a string, I retract those ties. They frame that narrative, call it just a joke, but it smells like fear when illusion gets smoked. You can clip that stream, twist context again. Still the real shine bright through the pixels and skin. I'm a beast with receipts loaded up on file. Put the mask on blast with a savage smile. I'm the late night raid on the false front page. Every bar that I drop, break a gilded cage. From the back of the pack to the alpha stance. When I spit, whole scene get a second glance. I'm the wolf on stream, Venatrix online. Hardcore takes when I lay that line. You can lie all day, but the fog won't stay. Every fake little flame gonna burn away. I howl that back, let the echoes fly. All the gaslit games always fade and die. When the teeth hit truth and the light hits sky, all the noise falls quiet when the wolf walks by. No script, no leash, no PR chain. Just a lone dark wolf in the day to rain. They can smear my name, I don't break, I climb. Cause the real don't ride, only frauds lose time. I'm the wolf on stream, Venatrix online. Hardcore takes when I lay that line. You can lie all day, but the fog won't stay. Every fake little flame gonna burn away. I howl that back, let the echoes fly. On the bricks in the feet, let the myth unwind. When the wolf speaks up, watch the lights flatline.
Okay, I'm back. I was actually sitting here for a good 30 seconds eating my chimes because I have a whole cabinet full of the candy that I ordered from the candy stream that I'm just trying to chip away at. They're a bit spicy. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. I don't really have like a visual for this. Like, I could pull up the tweets or whatever, but something else that happened while I was more like low-key this past week was the whole Feeble Mind and Shiver drama with the Skybrowse Discord splitting and all of that. And I tried to keep up on like most of it and what was going on. I did read basically the whole Google Doc and Feeble Mind's tweets and all of that. But I have to say my overall take on it, and this is just like as an outside observer, like I've never been like really involved in that Discord, even though I was invited to it, and I'm technically like in it. I interact with a lot of people who are part of the server, but like I don't really interact in the server, if that makes sense. I'm more just trying to catch up on my own server. But you know, I have like good relationships with people who are in the community and like their work and show their art and use their thumbnails on stream and all of that. But I will say, I think the whole thing was like very revealing of things going on under the surface. Obviously, like I said, I read the Google document and it was like kind of repetitive, which, you know, happens when you're trying to tell a story, whatever. Obviously, Shiver made a very irresponsible and not good decision moving across whatever country with her kid. I guess it sounds like she was with somebody else. I don't know. But obviously irresponsible to move in with a random guy, especially when you have a kid, without ever meeting them like IRL before. I do think somebody who's like more of a public figure in a community, I could see it making a little more sense, but still, I did notice that she owned that as a mistake, as a bad decision, and I thought that was like respectable, that part of it. I will say I saw people coming out saying like this is like another Me Too movement or kind of thing message, and I really felt like her claims were all like pretty mild for what she could have claimed about feeble mind. It wasn't anything like very condemning, but I will say I felt, or I thought that the way that feeble mind was portrayed and also kind of acted in response and things I've seen about him before, I just felt like her account kind of revealed his character to not be who he portrays himself to be online, as more like traditional, I think he's Eastern Orthodox, more traditional, like principled, conservative man. It seems like an odd decision to just like let a woman move in with you like that when other people were involved. Were that serious of a situation? You know, you'd think he would like go to the police or a women's shelter. It gives me the feeling that he was kind of taking advantage of the situation. Also, how like sex out of marriage was portrayed in the circumstance. It kind of lines up with other things that I saw people saying about like being banned from the community, because he was, I forget if he was like an administrator or maybe him and DJ started the Discord. I don't really know what his specific role was, but I do know he was like more in charge of it. And I saw people saying they got banned for pushing back against some of his language, and just that he was also somebody who seemed a bit hypocritical about free speech. And then, you know, he wanted to say whatever language and, you know, use, like, I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but like use the N-word out of context, which I don't think we should be policing people for that. But that when people were to push back against things, then he would like get mad and ban them, which is condemnable. And so I felt like I wasn't surprised, but I did feel like the whole drama revealed him as being hypocritical from who he portrayed himself to be as a public figure. And at the same time, she made a mistake, but I felt like she owned it. And I didn't see him saying like he made any mistakes. I just saw him saying like, I'm not perfect, but then not actually saying like what he wasn't perfect about. Oh, feeble-minded and his girlfriend. Yeah. It sounds like something between a woman and a kid and some dude named Feeble. Yes. Feeble Mind was either like a mod or an admin within the Skybrows community. And then now it looks like the Skybrows community has split. And I think Skybrows himself left the original Discord. And it has been interesting to watch from the sidelines. Yeah. Skybrows scuff. Yeah. To be fair, equally regarded a feeble to have a woman move in like that. Essentially, a relationship didn't work out. It appears like she made accusations about him to others. They acted on it, and he's been reacting. Some things were withheld. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of like he said, she said, but it does, from what I have seen, and you know, if you've seen something else, let me know. But from what I've seen, he was talking to other people in the Discord, in voice chat and stuff about the situation. And so she was like, well, why am I going to keep it private and let you frame the whole thing when you're actually talking about it publicly in the Discord? And that's why she came out with her side publicly. Didn't dox him or anything, which I thought was reasonable. You know, it would have been different if maybe she made it public for no reason before him, but she had a false accusation about another VTuber, so Shiver is look at me moment. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know anything about her. Like I said, they both seemed like it was pretty dumb decisions on both sides. But just from what actually came out, Skybrows was a community. It was the Discord that exists around Skybrows. Around his music and music creation and generation and all of that. Yeah. So yeah, so that was basically it on that. And then I have, you guys probably saw, this is not what I wanted. You guys probably saw, I actually might not have the tab up. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Probably saw what happened in Ireland with that attempted beheading. Let me see if I can find. I think that's super weird. I must have forgot to pull it up. That's fine. We can find it. No worries. I think it was a Tony Robinson tweet. Tommy Robinson, I'm sorry. Tommy Robinson. I think, isn't Tony Robinson like a public speaker? That's not who I'm talking about. Tommy Robinson. I think it was him. I'm searching for it. Let's see if I can find it. What the heck? It was how they are burning down migrant housing in response. Tommy Robinson, that's what I'm talking about. Tony Robbins is somebody else. I am in time for the Irish. Yes, sorry. I'm trying to find my link that I lost it. X Twitter login. Give it to me, please. It's not there. Where is it? Blah! Why are you being so annoying? Sometimes the internet doesn't internet, you know? Let's search for it here. That's not what I want. Tommy Robinson Fire? Maybe? We're just gonna have to look for it. Hold up. Wait a minute. Tommy Robinson. It was from the other day, I believe. Whoa, sorry, that's not right. Go. Maybe? Yes. Okay, we can scroll together. Oh, it's really big. You can really just scroll Tommy's XP. That is what I was gonna do. Actually. Okay. Yeah, he has lots of these disturbing situations, huh? This was just at a rally, but there was the gross. That's disgusting. It was, so I guess there was a guy in Belfast. I'm not going to show the video because it was pretty heinous. And he was almost decapitated by his attacker, who was from, I forget exactly where he was from. Let's see if we can find it. Wait, why? What is this? This is not his page. This is just giving me random Tommy Robinson. What the heck? Sorry, guys. This is, like, weird. I think it's because I'm not logged in. It's just giving me random tweets. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. He's officially lost sight in both eyes. Yes, that's what I saw. What the heck? Okay. Here we go. I'm just finding it on here, and then we'll... Ireland. Here we go. I got it. Okay, I think this should be better. Let's see. I think I sent this to myself in like an extra message.
At Ace Zero Spades super chatted $2. Don't forget to hydrate then. Smiley face emoji.
Thank you, Ace of Spades. I'm hydrating. I got new electrolytes, so I'm extra hydrated. Thank you for the $2 tip. I appreciate it. What the heck is going on? I literally searched this. Don't make me log in. What the fuck? It's because I'm not logged in. Ah! X is being a butt. It's okay. I'll find it. Well, I'm just going to grab the tweet itself. That's so weird. Yeah, I guess you can't, like, scroll the replies if you, aren't logged in. Here we go. Thank you for the head pats. The Lotus Eaters did a pretty good rundown on the Belfast protests, if that's what you're looking for. Oh, is that like a podcast? I've definitely heard that before. Maybe from you. Maybe we'll look into that. Let's switch. Okay, it was this tweet. Suspected HMOs are being burned out across Northern Ireland following the attempted beheading of a man by a Sudanese invader last night. Sudanese, that's who it was. And so now they're lighting their houses on fire, is the idea? Sargon's podcast. Yes, I have heard this before. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I mean, they're pushing back against it. They're saying, like, fuck this. We don't want the third world here. Okay, let's switch this. I'm going to look for something else on that real fast. Let's see if it'll just come up for me. Sorry, I'm trying to find like the actual video. 1 day ago. Belfast kicks off. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll click through this. It's like a 20-minute video. We'll click through it. Just 2 times speed it. The reason why I can't 2 times speed it, and I actually thought about doing that before, is because when I 2 times speed something, as much as I love doing that, then if somebody rewatches the stream on 2 times speed, then they're 4 times speeding, and it's kind of hard for them to hear. The Irish make "you've overstayed your welcome" very, very clear. I mean, good. They ought to. We ought to be doing the same thing. Irish, British, and oh boy, you better hope Germans don't decide to get angry. Okay.
So last night, Belfast pushed back hard, really hard. I mean, this was after the brutal beheading attempt.
It was disgusting.
I mean,
if you guys
just
haven't
before
seen
this,
the video, you should watch
we saw
it.
photos
Really
of the poor
gross.
guy's face who's got attacked. It is an absolute horror show. It
It's
literally
horrific.
looks like something out of a horror movie. The guy's face. Big protests all across Belfast. You know, things were torched. But for me, there is something fundamentally different about what happened in Belfast as opposed to what happened in Southampton. This is the key idea I want to get across in this. In Southampton, the protests were basically an appeal to the state.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So the protesters sought out the police.
Southampton is in the UK. Is that what happened?
And went to them and stood in front of them and...
Show us you're not two-tier.
Yeah,
Kneel.
and basically it was making an appeal to the state, saying notice us, change. It was an appeal to the police of moral framing about they were doing their kneeling in front of the police and trying to get the police to do it as well.
It was like, just act like you acted when it was the George Floyd.
Yeah, I also don't like I notice a lot of leftists will say cultural Muslims, they don't really know what they believe. It's but they're still part of the movement. They're still under it. They're still alleging or being aligned with that religion that believes horrible, disgusting things about pedophilia and lying and conquering and has horrific opinions of Christians and Jews. So, it's just cultural. They don't really believe it. Well, they should take what they believe more seriously. They're still part of the cultural push.
Yeah, exactly.
When it was
but in Belfast, they went where the police weren't. They made no attempt to appeal to the state, notice us, change us. They avoided.
Good. They're just taking it out
they
directly,
They
right?
didn't go around filming themselves.
Interestingly, I don't know if you're going to get to it. They did the complete opposite. Any auditors,
Absolutely.
They got rid of them. Any news, there was.
So there's a GB news crew.
Yeah,
and they were told in no uncertain terms.
And women, right? Ven, why aren't you calling out Muslim views of women? Horrible. Yes, and their Muslim views of women, which is actually really funny because the leftists won't condemn that, but they are the most feminist people until it comes to Muslims doing Muslim things in their country. Then, I guess wearing a head covering is a feminist decision then, I suppose.
Get out of here, go away. And they backed off a bit, and then they went to them again and said, you're not far enough away, go away. So because basically what they did in Southampton is they built the prosecution's file for them.
Yeah,
by filming themselves, going around without masks, queuing up in front. There's a bit of muck.
Yeah.
But I get one of these.
Feeling like the peaceful.
Talking about Southampton, I just mentioned this, is that that might be interesting. But okay, what was going on in Belfast? So, I mean, they were going, because it's all local based. It's all community based.
There was 88,000 grapes in the UK. That's one grape every 8 minutes. That's fucking disgusting. That's like what Rupert Lowe was reading about the grooming gangs.
They were going house to house in areas where they suspected there were sort of HMOs. And
Also, I'm real sick of the whole like all religions are equal bullshit. I think there's a lot of people who don't believe at all and they try to use that. Like, look, it's always God, just depicted in different ways. And certainly there are like some religions that are very similar and like lots of pagan religions that kind of result in the same worldview. But no, like it's not the same. Like what you believe affects how you act in the world. Same thing for like people trying to separate church and state. Like I think they don't understand what that means, because it's one thing to have a theocracy where the church is literally ruling the country. It's another thing to acknowledge that, yeah, like your religious beliefs are going to inherently influence politics, because politics involves decision making and morality and risk and right and wrong. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? It just feels like everything has to be separated except for what they believe. Which is like an atheist, materialist worldview that apparently has no consequences on reality the way religion does. Just saying.
And illegal migrants being put up, and they were just, if they identified one. So this is obviously a house they know is an HMO. They're just turning up, put the windows through, leave immediately. They're not standing there doing something performative in front of police.
Yeah,
this is
they're just pushing back on their country being taken over.
This is very direct.
This isn't a peaceful protest.
And like to people who would say like, oh, but what if there's somebody who's not like, who isn't violent, who just came here illegally or whatever? Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, this is another situation of this is collateral. Like, if I were going to another country, like I actually seriously thought about moving to another country when I was younger. Where was I thinking about I wanted to go? Maybe it was before COVID. Maybe New Zealand or like somewhere in Europe. And like I didn't for a second think that I didn't need to assimilate or like learn the language or like become part of the culture. Like if you're going to another country, like you're gonna act like an invader and just hang on to everything about where you came from and be an isolated little cult. And take advantage of their systems, like, okay, so what? Like, it happens. And yeah, exactly. Invading is invading. Being a peaceful invader just means last on the list to kick out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how you just go to another country and flounce around like you don't understand that there's consequences to that kind of action.
Right? Like, it's not just... not performative. It's not asking for things. You're not asking for permission.
No. What they're doing is they're changing incentive structures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they into this. So what we're looking
it's like
is this was out on the streets in the middle of Belfast, and even with this, notice the upset.
Imagine moving to the Congo and expecting everyone to speak English. Exactly.
They're not filming faces. So this guy, for whatever reason, would have been trusted to have a camera in this situation. If he wasn't trusted, he wouldn't have.
Invaders are invaders, whether peaceful or not. Yeah, which is why it pisses me off with like the illegal immigrants when people be like, their families are being separated. It's like they should have fucking thought about that before they came here. Like, what do we say to like a murderer who's being put in jail? Like, oh, but their children won't have their father. Like, what? They commit a crime. Like, since when do we put above a family? When do we put a family staying together above a crime that enacts terror on a society? Like, what the fuck?
He wouldn't be allowed to have a camera out. He's not filming faces. But what they're basically doing is they're going around here, and when they're seeing a Deliveroo driver, which, basically all foreign guys are all Middle Eastern or African guys. And
then people get mad that, like, Americans, like white people, will go to some public space or public place or something, and there'll be like a whole group of whatever, like migrant or foreign family, and there's 1 million people and nobody's speaking English and they're taking up the whole space, and then the white people are like, wow, like looks like the replacement theory, and then they're deemed racist. Like, they're literally doing it to you in front of your face insultingly. Nobody ever goes somewhere and sees a foreign family that's, like, trying to speak English, that's trying to be polite, follow the rules, that is assimilated, that's dressed well. You know what I mean? Like, nobody ever has a problem with that type of person. Not ever does anybody have a problem with that type of person. Just saying. Twitch's own emote spazzed out. Weird, Snark Monkey. I thought you were spamming us.
They're slapping the bags out their hand. So, I mean, this is going to be described as extreme thuggery and all that kind of stuff. No, you're right. This is still tame. This is still in the model of
video circulating of someone. Video circulating every angle. I mean,
tame
is going to be described as extreme. Yeah.
This is very tame.
Still in the holding back bit.
People have peacefully vocalized that they're against.
Yes.
For decades, people have said, "Hey guys."
Yeah, they have. And remember, we were told it was a conspiracy theory. We were told the Great Replacement was a conspiracy. And then when everybody figured out that it was actually really happening, then they just started saying, like, yeah, it's good. That's what they're always doing. They're always moving the goalpost over like that.
Turkish barbers are clearly fronts.
And I've now got 7 barbers in my area.
Blatant injustices. It communicates to people, I'm not fulfilling my role in protecting you.
We separate families all the time when we throw someone in jail. It's not like we arrest the whole family. That's what I'm saying.
People will feel that the social contract has affected.
Yeah, Sudanese most affected.
It's the meme of,
make it about you.
Yeah,
another one.
You go in there and you make it about you. It's like, I don't care.
And then it's also so fucking disgusting. It's like that guy in the UK that stabbed the college student, right, with a knife. And wasn't he Sikh or something? And he was allowed to have a knife, even though you're not allowed to have a knife because some religious exemption. Like, at what point do we start saying, like, no, this is outright, like, war on our way of life in Western countries? And this is, like, no, you're not just like, oh, conveniently, you just have some religious exemption. Like, okay, then I should get a UK religious exemption, like a Catholic religious exemption to hold a machine gun. Like, you know what I mean? It's just disgusting.
What the Sudanese community feels right now. Someone was in the street, almost beheaded. Yeah, I actually don't care. There shouldn't be a Sudanese community in Ireland.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be one there. I don't understand why there is.
Fears grow over anti-immigration protests after asylum seeker charged with attempted murder, and then, basically the Guardian is doing this stuff. A Sudanese barber owner at the cash register was smiling at the question, did he feel safe in Belfast, when 2 men strolling down the street paused in his open doorway and unleashed a sudden shrieking howl. It ended as abruptly as it began, and without a word, the 2 men, white in their 20s, wearing grey tracksuits, resumed their stroll. Okay, so yeah, I mean, obviously it's awful that a Sudanese barber is being yelled at. Can we talk about being a 12-year-old girl in Bradford now? Can we talk?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people always want to take this on like an individual case-by-case basis, but there are movements happening here. There's overall trends happening here. And yeah, if you're going to just go to another country and be part of that kind of migrant takeover, like, sorry, you're going to end up swept up in the backlash. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Make better life planning choices.
About
Afghan
after raping girl. And again, it is
traitors. There is also an ideology by the establishment that tries to sort of...
The thing is,
and they're hitting
illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call them,
and this is the video I was looking at
my
before.
property, because it may get burned down.
Yeah,
I would like to apply for a Crusader exemption.
That's the calculation.
And that's a point I've made on... But they're doing it within the frame. They're not...
I think your Discord is pinging, Ven. I think you're right. Sorry, I thought it was off. Sorry. Who is pinging my Discord? Okay.
Fast model hasn't yet spread to the UK, but it's not fundamentally difficult. You look at what they're doing, and it's like, oh, okay, they're not going where the police are. They're masking up. They're wearing black. They're leaving their phones at home. They're knowing what they want to hit. They're going out, hit, go home again. That it's so much more focused, and the police are going to massively struggle to respond to any of this stuff. This is fascinating. Okay, so let's actually.
That's old. That's not from now.
No, this is a few months old at this point.
Okay.
So this is basically a bunch of lads. As you will notice, that's the island flag behind them. These are not loyalists. These are Republicans, and they are basically saying, look, we're fed up with our women being attacked, with our kids being attacked. They describe themselves as the new Republican Army, all right, and that's really significant, right? Because.
Kneecap the leftist rapper from Ireland. Zev is 7 out on Discord. Oh god, I'll have to look at that after. Irish don't
Tony
mess
Blair,
around.
for all his faults, And I don't like the way he did it because of the compromises he made, but he did manage to wrap up the Troubles that were a massive thing in this country and a massive thing in Northern Ireland at the time. And he did it by bringing them into the process. And that's why you've got Sinn Féin in government. That's why you've got DUP in government. They're always in government. But you've got the sort of Republican and the loyalist forces in government. Right. Problem is, those guys, they're all boomers. They're all in their 50s and 60s.
And apparently...
Wait, is he going to play the video? Why did he not play the video?
I wouldn't accuse a DUP. Yeah, they are. They are. Well, I wouldn't accuse a DUP of being woke.
Do you know how massively you have to screw up to get Protestant and Catholic Irish to ally with each other?
But they've pushed back on you. The guys that you need to watch out
because
we say about, we'll get copy, and we genuinely a lot worse than doing begging, approving of this. But this is where it gets Weimar. He says the UK's...
Also, I'll just say, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this before, but I feel like people like would look at me like I'm crazy for this, but I've experienced like weird racial tensions that I definitely did not start with other people, like around like delivering food or like in stores. And like I'll say that's another side effect of this kind of culture where everything is so tribal and split and unassimilated, is like I feel like somebody's gonna like do something to my food or like fuck up my car, or you know what I mean? Like when we live in this environment where we're very clearly at war with other cultures, you know, it has a real effect on how you go about just living your everyday life. And I feel like, you know, for somebody to look at that and be like, wow, that's racist, that you would think that, like, what do you mean? Like, that's just in-group dynamics. And from people who don't have the same moral system that I do, you know? I'd recommend Jake Monroe's video on all this. Lotus Eaters is great, but they waffle on for a long time. Yeah, they were waffling a little bit.
We said no thanks, we wouldn't like that, that'd be great.
Yeah. Ed Davies' response is to go after Elon again. Yes,
he's a cretin, isn't he? Obviously.
And like it's so frustrating, like because these things will happen and be on white people all the time by these communities, and that's not racist. But then the white people saying, we're gonna not tolerate this anymore, that's racist. Like it's just such a convenient line, you know? Okay. What am I doing? Let's see. Did I miss anything? Jake Monroe's more on the topic. I don't know if I'm going to watch that right now, but I'll look it up. Let's see. Why is this not coming up? Oh, because I'm not logged in. It's showing me like a really weird version. Hang on. You guys will see. It's like a weird version of the videos.
How many more knifings do we need to endure? Right up to we don't get and expose. So where this gets, okay? First, this is all murder, not gonna straight are doing. We have they're doing.
Wait, which one is this? Why is he not referencing it? No, I think this one is about the UK. Is it this one?
There's a reason why I am legally obliged not to incite violence. There have been people saying remigration just a little bit loud sets a very different class of their own, okay? You piss off a white class of their own fast as you can. In fact, doesn't even
potentially. The White West is the only group that ever believed in mutual benefit and rejected the zero-sum worldview and arrogantly assumed that everyone else was like that too. They were and are not. They hate us because they ain't us.
I mean, look, the scared Ugandan student nurse forced to flee Belfast home after violent protest.
From the house, and the only thing I did not get from the house were the letters my children wrote for me. Because that is all I have from my children, the letters that they wrote for me 3 years back when I was leaving them back home. I think that is the only thing I didn't get I only got my passport, my laptop, and my uniform.
Once again, like, I'm sorry that you made bad life decisions and came here. Like, I don't know, that sounds harsh, but I feel like I reject this just like we just flee our country. And I think the leftists have this idea of like, they just flee their country because like we make it bad. Like, no, we didn't make it bad. I don't know what to tell you. Thank you for the follow. Why aren't you at home with your children? You'd be fine. Grab laptop, passport, and uniform, but forgot letters.
Because I have to go to work.
Can I really be able to stay here? Will I be safe because of what happened and the whole experience?
I don't know. You shouldn't be entitled to be safe or live in another country that's not your homeland. Like, why is this such a fucking foreign concept?
So just know I'm scared.
Absolutely nothing about the deaf guy that got his face gouged off by a Sudanese.
I have no sympathy and don't want to get you in trouble with what I think about her pain.
Prick. Absolutely nothing. Not a word. I don't feel safe here now. I want to go home. Wow, look at that. Look at that. A little bit of heat on the ground and they get to go home. Listen, whenever they come here and they start slicing us up into pieces, we can't leave. We can't go home. There's nowhere for us to go. We have to stay here and put up with it. What the f do you think people were gonna do? She's dealing with her. It's good in here. And also the letters from your children
That's actually such a good impersonation.
that you left to come here. You could.
The letter story smells made up because in the present day, you can contact anyone, anywhere in the world via the internet. Yeah. I mean, it's just this, like, concern, what's it called? Feigning concern, this concern culture that always comes out of the woodwork after these things.
You can go home. You people, Uganda. If white man favor by taxpayer money. Oh, well, if you have to go, would you like some cake for the more? Funny how they just seem to only care about themselves. Let's see, where was this here?
Get on, mate. Cheers. Whoa!
And like, you know, maybe your family will be a little bit more afraid to come here.
I don't know why we're running. People just started sprinting. There must be at least two. Bloody hell, what's going on? Oh. People are running. I know what's happening. People are just running. This guy's in camo.
Apparently,
I mean, they're making it impossible to live in uncivilized or in civilized society. Like, this is kind of what I was saying about the Spencer Pratt election before. Like, what are people to do? You know, like, what do we expect to happen here when all of the civilized routes of changing things are shut down by fraud and corruption and massive abuse of the system?
The Irish hunting for migrant infested housing. By the way, this is what remigration was going to look like. This whole like well, all we have to do is just make a hostile environment for them and they would leave, right? You know, like rejecting any and all of their customs being allowed into the country, blah 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 blah. They were going to be in the streets. They were going to refuse to leave. In fact, it was going to look something like this video. This is a shit ton of armed foreigners walking through the center of the city. I don't know what city this is or when this was, but point stands. This is what it's gonna look like. This is what remigration's gonna look like. They don't want to go, bruv. Nah, they don't want to go, bruv. They want to kill you. They don't want to go, bruv. Look at them. Can you hear what they're saying? Can you hear what they're saying? You should be able to. It should be very familiar, this word. Allahu Akbar is what they're saying. Allahu Akbar. It was always going to look like this, lads. Anything but thugs, no more mosques, Palestinian flags. They were never going to hit back to Iraq, I guess. And you've made your point. Get here to get free. How do you think that's going? What do you think that's going to take this as?
This is just making me mad. They're saying Aloha snack bar. It's funny because every time you guys say that, I get it now. But you know there actually is an Aloha brand protein bar. And the first time I saw that, I was like, wait, what does that have to do with this?
Sure, that'd be great. I'm placed with a Muhammad. That sucks. Well, he's neither did the spell that returned everyone back to their Shastars and their Kurpans. real mad. Every blade is curved. Every single one. Everything's...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. What are you looking for specifically? Oh, I'm just browsing through for clips, basically. Yeah. So we'll keep watching for what's going on in Ireland. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out now that, you know, they're actually pushing back against this horror show. I'll link this video in the description of the stream if you want to watch the whole thing at your leisure, since I just clicked through it. But yeah. Okay. All right. I was gonna do some Mass Effect, but to be completely honest, like I was telling you guys before, I just have been like really wiped out and kind of recovering and easily tired. So I'm gonna wait on that. I am gonna schedule a stream for Wednesday though. Wednesday in the evening, around the same time. I don't know. I'll put out a notification, but then I'm going to try to stream every Saturday and Wednesday. So get a double dose of Ven every week, which will be fun. And we'll do Mass Effect on Wednesday. And some other reacts and maybe some funny stuff too. Yeah. Okay, with that, I'm going to end this at a slightly shorter stream. But thank you so much for being here and for chatting and for all the 40K lore that I learned. Hopefully the Irish take back their country, as do the rest of the West. Yeah, have a good rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys same time, same place on Wednesday. All right, thank you for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Okay, see you soon. Venna is Amelia in Ireland. Thanks for the stream, Ben. God bless. God bless you too. Always love it when I don't sleep past it. Worked out perfect. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Every breath feels heavy when the truth is treated like a crime. Living honest in a world that forces you to toe the line. They twist the words, they sell the fear. They keep the masses blind. But deep inside the fire's growing, and it's burning through my mind. To rebellion, and the rebellion calls my name. Sick of the poison, sick of the chains they wrap around our souls. We've carried this way too long. Now we're ready to let it go. We're Where